Hello, everyone, and so this guy right here has tried to cancel me for by disliking my videos to intimidate me on the videos I made on him and his bot fan base to intimidate me. I will just let you know it will not work. I do not give a flying fuck what you brain dead retards think. Just going forward, you will not intimidate me. I will cover another hour of this and turn it into 5 hours, and I will milk this until the end. He can try to stop me. He will fail, and it will continue to get ever more glorious. But yes, please do watch my content to try to dislike my videos. That will make me come, and I do like to come. So, like, giving me an excuse to jizz is very much welcome. Thank you. Now let's watch a little bit more of this pathetic subhuman creature.
The dog and tells it to take care of itself. It just feels way too sudden, and with how cold Leon was portrayed in the earlier chapters, I would expect him to just leave the dog there if he thought it was infected by the Plaga, as he's seen with the prior enemies. All the story moments we've gone through, and
Now, have you noticed that he hasn't seen any animals infected by the Plaga yet? In fact, the dogs that are infected by the Plaga don't appear until after this. So the first evidence that it infects animals as well is after this scene, right? Before this, every single enemy is a person, right? The crows are just crows, so they're not infected at all. It's not like an older Resident Evil game where the crows are actually an enemy type. So none of the crows are enemies, and none of the insects at that point are enemies either, right? It's just regular spiders and bats. I mean, I guess they're creepy, but they're not infected, right? So, so far, you only know of people being infected, and you've encountered several animals that aren't. You've also encountered that they've killed dogs before in the game. So this idea that he would assume it's infected when literally none of the animal life he has come across so far at this point in the game has been infected yet, is a little jarring, right? It's a little worrying, even, you know? I'm just saying, right? Like, you know, I know you've gone on and on and on about how you suck at the game and how that it being too difficult for you is apparently like a problem with the game's design and not just your inability to play and play games. Just like your skill issue with learning what the story is saying is a problem with that, right? You also think that this is jarring and that that's a bad thing when horror movies and games have, and really just all movies in general really have had jarring quote, not really, but like dramatic emotional shifts to show the difference in tone between two different scenes. It's a general thing that happens a lot, and it's not exclusive to this game at all. And in fact, most of the best written games of all time also have this as a phenomenon.
changes in Leon's mindset just cause this moment with the dog to feel like a slapdash out of the blue placement. In Resident Evil 4 OG, you find the dog at the start of Chapter 1-1 and free it. Having the dog be at the start of Chapter 1 is better pacing-wise, because you haven't gone through any significant story moments that make you view.
That's not how that works. This guy is saying you must never have a story or game-related reprieve moment, because in that case, then why are you not complaining about the safe rooms in every Resident Evil game, right? Like, because safe rooms are reprieves, right? You tend to have one, like in the original remake, right? You have one that you have to go to basically after you've fought Jan, right? And before you fight Jan as well, if you want to save Richard, right? After you fought Jan, if you get bit, or before you fight Jan, you have these reprieve sections called safe rooms, as well as the medicine room, right? And in some sections, you actually have to go to them, depending on what you want to do in the game, right? So because of that, right? Because there are, in fact, parts of Resident Evil that is a thing that occurs, you know? I'm just saying.
Being just a distraction interaction. Also, given that you're in what is mostly a forest area, this feels like a likely place to encounter the dog. And given that the only story moment we've been given so far is that the villagers are cruel, heartless monsters that have killed many people, it makes you care more about the dog. And you want to know something else? And this is entirely subjective, but I prefer the way the dog looks in Resident Evil 4 OG compared to the remake. The dog in Resident Evil 4 OG looked very timid and innocent with its appearance, which complemented its cries for help. There's
I mean, I guess.
a greater sense of empathy and care that's moderated.
But it also doesn't look like a wolf when it is supposed to be a wolf, to be fair. I know he says it's that dog, but it is supposed to be a wolf. I don't know why Leon doesn't know the difference between a dog and a wolf. But yeah, Huey, looks less like fluffy, I guess, and apparently that's and smaller, and apparently that's a problem. Having less dog is a good thing, right? Like you want less dog. More dog mean scarier or intimidating, and not just more fluffy to cuddle and pet.
In the fight with the El Gigante, it feels cool having this very timid and loyal dog act brave to help you against this massive boss. The dog in the remake, however, is not preferable. It's very hairy and looks ferocious, which undersells its current predicament at being caught in this bear trap. This doesn't feel like a dog worth relating to or empathizing with. This feels
No, you empathize with it because it's an animal that was just trapped in a bear trap and literally no other reason. Like, I guess like you just have never watched any good movies related to dogs and stuff, right? But a lot of people don't actually like animal abuse and will do stuff like this all the time. It's a very common thing. And you also say no, like the forest area. There's trees and like forestation all around this. So what are you talking about? Because there's buildings as well, that there can't be animal life. You just saw crows. What about the crows? What about the fish? What about the quarry and all that, right? What about all the trees in the background and all that? Like you're saying all this stuff, but there's literally no reason why a dog wouldn't be found here just because there's less trees in the background and there's a building nearby. Is that supposed to make... I mean, there's a building nearby in the original game's first area, too. There's trees nearby. Okay, like, what are you talking about here?
it's like a dog that's already battle-hardened. And when it helps you in the El Gigante fight, it just feels like a generic ally. It doesn't feel like there's any substance to its involvement here.
Well, it does. It bites him. And also, like, there's a problem with this, actually. That is actually bad and kind of frustrating. That's that he heals up a little bit when he gets bitten.
To the next point, the dog in Resident Evil 4 Remake is bad mechanically. I swear, the number of times this dog has screwed me in my fight against the El Gigante is pretty high.
Well, he wouldn't have screwed you if you've actually like tried fighting the boss. Like how much of that time was just him dodging attacks and not actually fighting the guy? Right, so he has a handgun that he's not using, a shotgun he's not using. He has no rifle, which is retarded. He hasn't at least try the fucking one shot bolt thrower thing too, you know?
I'm trying to avoid certain moves that demand I get out of the way quickly, and the dog ends up getting in my way because its pathing is completely random, is annoying.
Well, no, you ran towards the dog instead of the other way around, which was also closer. So that's on you, buddy, for not realizing that the left instead of the right on that move would have been better. Because you would have had to cover less distance in the first place.
Serves to complement how bad the arena is for fighting the El Gigante.
Well, it seemed like now he went left, and then the right movement was right. It's funny how both times he had to move less also, so even if the dog wasn't in the way, he would have had a much easier time if he went the other direction anyway. Right? It'd be one thing if the left seemed to be the correct move to dodge that attack during the attack, but it didn't.
Evil 4 OG, you never clipped on the dog. Old Capcom had common sense with switching off the dog's collision box. You should never be clipping on an ally that has random pathfinding. Also, if you have the dog with you, the pre-alpha will trigger this cutscene at a certain point in the El Gigante's HP threshold, where it will smash a wall and the debris will fall into the arena, making it smaller, further complementing the poor designs already apparent.
No, he hasn't talked about how his health will be restored. He just talks about how, which is actually the only bad thing about that, that is actually mechanically bad, that can't be explained by he isn't even fucking playing the game, right? Like, notice how he's knifing the El Gigante there, because of how easy the El Gigante is, in the original game, right? And he's mad that he has to strategize more and use his firepower on the El Gigante more in the remake. Which upsets him because he wants to have easier gameplay because he's bad at video games.
This never happened in Resident Evil 4 OG. They never tried to make the dog's presence a hindrance by favoring this dumb design. These issues got so aggravating to the point where I stopped saving the dog. I legitimately hate the dog in this remake because of the mechanical problems with it. I can't even remember the last time I've saved it. The only time the dog is ever worth saving is if you're running very high-powered weapons like an upgraded sniper rifle, as the boss will be dead by the time you get screwed by the dog. The only thing I do like about the dog in this remake compared to the original version is how it stays at the end of the fight and acknowledges you if you walk up to it. I wish they did this in Resident Evil 4 OG with some kind of cutscene.
Yeah, notice how like he has to acknowledge that it is actually far more base than he could ever acknowledge. Positively in the video, even now, because yes, the dog actually is an ally to you properly here, whereas in the original, it's just kind of gone at the end of it. Also, the reason why, like I said, it's not really a dog, it's a wolf. In both versions, it howls, clearly indicating a wolfish nature, right? And it being an actual wolf makes it more sense, right? Now, him calling it a dog in the game probably refers to the fact that wolves and dogs are effectively the same anyway. You know, one's a different species, but otherwise very closely related.
It kinda annoys me that the dog just disappears in Resident Evil 4 OG. But to sum it all up, the dog is done poorly in Resident Evil 4 Remake. And the funny thing is that in the model viewer, the dog is classed as an enemy. So it seems the developers wanted the dog to be a nuisance because he's
Well, no, the dog is classified as an enemy, as are chimkins, crows, bats, scarabs, cows, pigs, fish, rats, and snakes, right? Of those, only the snake and rats and fish are fightable, right? And crows are only the crows and only the snake and rats, and I guess crows are incentivized to kill, and only the snakes and the cows and pigs can damage you, right? I guess maybe chickens can too. Like the scarab beetles and the bats and the rats and the dog and the crows cannot attack you, as well as neither can the fish, right? So only these four are actually like combat enemies. And another thing is you can actually prevent the dog from joining you in the fight, but still save it, similar to the original, by shooting the bear trap. And in both versions, the dog will not join you in the fight, but it will be saved and do the save animation. Yeah, fun fact: you can save the dog without actually, causing it to join you in the fight. And like I said, it is actually beneficial not to, because he will heal when he does that move that he was talking about. He will heal up, right? When the dog bites him and goes into the thing, right? Now the El Gigante tends to die very quickly anyway, because it takes like 3 or 4 rifle rounds in general at that point. And he has the plaga just all in its face, so it is very rare that that's ever an issue, but still, you know.
He's actually an enemy in disguise. Talk about a wolf in wolf's clothing. But by this point in my blind playthrough, I started to ask the question of whether this pre-alpha was rushed. Not just in terms of gameplay, but in terms of story, character, and pacing. The gameplay has been below subpar quality. The story's barely been present.
Well, you've not really played the game, and you haven't been paying attention. I guess that's a boon against the game, maybe. that you haven't been paying attention to what's going around you and you suck at the video game. I wouldn't call that. I would call that a skill issue and a argument against your against any one pretending you have any intelligence. But you do you, buddy.
Characters have been acting out of character, and the screenplay and pacing have been questionable. I had gone through just 2 chapters and the start of chapter 3, and already this was feeling like the worst Resident Evil title ever. That really says a lot when a product starts to feel this bad, and you haven't even gotten to the 25% mark.
Well, true. Except it doesn't. If it did, you wouldn't have ever gone to the 100%. Because any game that's that bad, you just wouldn't finish. This is how you know he's just cinema sins and up. He also likely loves the game, and is just doing this for content because it's easier to pretend to hate something that you actually love than it is to admit you love it. He loves the game, and it's pretty blatantly obvious by the fact that he has to cinema sin style nitpick it, right? He's picking at nits. He's picking at head lice, not anything actually serious, just head lice, right? I always found that phrase weird. Apparently, a friend said it's not surface level criticism; it's actually just deep diving into every little detail, which might be like what it's supposed to mean, but that's never what anyone who actually nitpicks does when people criticize them for nitpicking. Yeah, you are doing that, but like also you aren't actually causing, like, pointing out any issues. The fact that this is 17 hours long, and he hasn't, in 2 hours, he hasn't done a single issue that is not easily explainable within the context of the game itself. It is very telling that he doesn't actually believe any of this shit. Right? Like, if he truly believed any of these criticisms, then they wouldn't be extremely easy to debunk. But they are. That's very weird, isn't it?
A tower gets destroyed. It was not Ada or Wesker who blew up the tower, it was the Ganados. I don't know why they thought of resorting to this measure, but it doesn't make sense. A bunch of throwaway colmillos spawn in, but we run past.
Yeah, the thing is happening, by the way, pretty much purely because they want to trap Leon in for the wolf enemies to fight him, right? The entire point is to make the area you have smaller, so you have less places to go to escape from the attack, right? They probably already know he has the church key as well because he just got it, you know? So they've been destroying their own landscape to try to box Leon in. Yes.
Them and then run past the 2 enemies guarding the door. When we enter this room, there's a file titled Illuminados 49 that is phrased weirdly. I believe this is talking about the El Gigante, given that you see a big hand in the picture. But if this is the case, why is this El Gigante more important than the other ones you deal with at the castle, or the one that Ada deals with in Separate Ways Remake? Why would the Illuminados display some kind of religious/emotional attachment to this one El Gigante compared to the others? Why would any BOW...
I don't think that's what that is about, buddy.
in a religious text? I could understand the lichens being considered a part of the villagers' superstitions in Resident Evil Village, given that they were a common subordinate BOW created through failed affinity for the Caduce, and there were lots of lichens around, but something like the El Gigante doesn't make sense.
Why doesn't it make sense? He's awoken. He was asleepened by the cult and their magic spell going Glorious Les Plagas, and then he was awakened by that same chant happening again when you fight him, right? Let's see. Sleep well and flourish, dear child. As your body grows, your mother shall sew new small clothes. At 7 quintal of wheat and half a bull a day, you have outgrown your pen. Flourish, dear child, for the sake of your brothers and sisters who cannot. Right? It's referring to the fact that they had to feed him a lot because he's bigger. Yeah. It's not referring to just the one. It's just referring to them in general, right? And yeah, they also referred to in another note that you can find in the cave as well. About how people were kind of feeling trapped and scared about him because he kept eating all their food, right? So they kind of have that note as well as the note you find in the cave about him after you fight him, kind of going together, right?
Around for a bit of time. So this would imply that BOW research or some kind of rituals regarding the Plaga infection were being done before the scientists developed further if they're mentioning BOWs in their texts. I don't know when the Illuminados gained access to scientific research or employed scientists like Luis and Annabelle, but this kind of BOW shouldn't be possible to create in whatever old period they came from.
Well, clearly it was. Also, who's to say that the cult is very new, right? I mean, very old, right? It could be new, right? Like new cults spring up all the time, buddy. It could be like 20, 30 years. It might the cult might have been less than 100 years old. I mean, Adam Sadler instead of Osmond Sadler there, right? So I don't know. Maybe Adam Sadler is his uncle or something, and that's like when the cult started. It's literally 2 generations of culting. This is a thing that happens all the time in real life. I mean, Charles Manson literally created a cult that ended up murdering and killing a bunch of people. The cult was like very devout, way more devout than the Illuminados. Within a man, like half of a man's lifetime, right? He spent the other half in prison. Within half of a man's lifetime, he was able to get a group of people so devout that they were willing to do all that without any plaga parasites or anything, just with words alone. Imagine that. Like, if you actually know anything about cults in real life, you can easily explain this. It's almost as if observing reality on like the things you're complaining about not being realistic makes it more realistic. Imagine that, right? Yeah, people are very easily manipulated. That's kind of a sad part about reality.
Why were they even making the El Gigante in the first place in this remake timeline? In the canon timeline, the El Gigantes were byproducts of Las Plagas research and genetic manipulation to create BOWs. Such excessive modifications allowed its size to be greater, but its intelligence could not be improved even through repeated trials. This I understand, but having the El Gigante be mentioned in religious texts of the Illuminados changes the reason for their creation. This is really
No, it actually doesn't, because the religious text and if you look at like the story, like none of the notes are more than 100 years old, right? When it comes to all these things, so like the religion was probably like Adam Sadler and Osmond Sadler like are the only like leaders of the religion ever, which would mean make the holy book less than like 80 to 100 years old also. Right, like Beatriz is Mendez's father. Is the oldest member of the cult like that we know of mentioned in the entire game. Beatriz Mendez's father is, as you probably know, not that old. Because Beatriz Mendez is also not that old when you encounter him and kill him in the game. So the child of a guy who's like maybe like Leon's age. Maybe twice Leon's age, so like maybe like early to mid 50s, right? So like a guy in his 70s, right, is like the oldest guy in the cult that we know of, right? The oldest mention of a guy. So the religious text is probably like a new thing anyway.
confusing. But in this file, the Illuminados tell their dear child of a BOW to sleep well and flourish, and that as its body grows, the female Ganados will sew new small clothes for it. Small clothes. Why would they use such a term for such a large BOW? They then mention that after eating 7 quintals of wheat, which is about 1,543.234 pounds, and half a bowl a day, it has outgrown its pen. I don't know if this refers to the town hall or the quarry as its pen. They then keep
Well, so what that basically means, so small clothes in there is referring to undergarments, right? So like underwear and stuff, right? And when it comes to it eats a lot. Yeah, it ate a lot, right? 7 quintal of wheat and a half a bowl a day is a lot of wheat in a bowl, right? It's a lot of food. It's a lot of food.
the El Gigante to flourish for the sake of its brothers and sisters who can. So this implies that the El Gigante was not a byproduct or a failed experiment with the Plaga. This is really confusing, and this whole file...
So it's very, like, so it suffers a lot of deformities which make it less intelligent, yes.
feels contradictory to a later file that you get. In the rearing log, which you get after beating the El Gigante, they documented certain events regarding the El Gigante's development. At 6 months, they said its teeth just came through, but it still shoves everything in its mouth. It doesn't walk yet, but it swallowed a dog whole. This feels like a lore violation because it implies that a baby was infected to become the El Gigante. And as I mentioned before, plaga infection of babies is always fatal. Why else would they use phrases like, its teeth have only just come through?
Well, is it a plaga infection at first, right? It's probably a growth hormone, and then the plaga comes in later, right, to facilitate more growth, right, or something, right? It could also be like genetic splicing to allow the babies to be able to have plaga in them at a young age. You know, I mean, it's a fucking pharmaceutical company, right? That's behind this. So we have a cult and a pharmaceutical company doing genetic eugenic splicing, right?
Or it can't walk yet. These phrases describe developmental periods that babies go through. So I see new Capcom didn't look back at the lore of Resident Evil 4 OG properly, and it makes no sense for a baby to be used because, as I mentioned before, babies aren't fully developed. So it makes sense that they wouldn't survive the process of the plaga attaching to the spinal cord. And why was this baby chosen to be an El Gigante and not sacrificed, as described in Illuminados 4.3?
Well, because it was specifically... So, what you're saying there is, why is the cult full of shit, right? Well, I mean, it's a cult designed specifically to distract people from the religion, from the very eugenics operations that are happening around them and to their people by the umbrella researchers near the area, right? That's like the thing, right? The cult is basically a distraction from the actual bullshit happening around them. So they use this religion to kind of coerce people into being okay with the fact that men are taking their kids and stuff away from them, and then people are becoming infected with this like thing a bunch, right? It's all in order to coerce people, right? It's almost as if like this is also somewhat of a criticism on religious cults in America doing the exact same thing. Almost as if like Umbrella is a criticism of things like Pfizer and stuff doing similar things with American drugs as well. It's almost as if like the big pharmaceutical enterprise conspiracy video games franchise series thing is against the idea of massive corporations with hundreds of billions of dollars making it their life's work to destroy all that is good in humanity. I don't know. Maybe Capcom is just very anti big corporation and big government stuff, and that's just what they're openly about. I don't know. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought that maybe a cult is a bad thing, and that not all cults are even like used because they believe it? Yeah, it might be true. Right now, obviously, Sadler gives the idea that he believes his own bullshit, but did he at first? Right? Because it turns out like there could also be like a line like Hitler told the lies until he believed them. Right? That was a quote by him. Everyone will believe lies until they tell them enough, and then they'll start to believe them, right? And that's the thing, right? So, yeah.
I don't get it. Even the Resident Evil podcast team agrees that this seems like something the developers overlooked or needlessly changed.
Well, who's this Resident Evil podcast team? I have no idea who the fuck you're talking about, buddy. Like what? Like, I'm supposed to actually know who these people are? Like, is it Residents of Evil? Like, you call it the Resident Evil podcast team, but is it Residents of Evil? Is it Bakba Soup? Is it Waifu Runs? Is it Ultraeus? Is it Dave Ravioli? Is it Sphere Hunter? Is it Maximilian, dude? Like, who is this Resident Evil podcast and who does it feature? Because what I'm getting at is like it's a few YouTubers that are very niche that you're using the title of to try to say like they're a big authority when they're like a 5 sub channel no one fucking heard of that's only you and your fucking dick, and that's the entire thing about it, right? Um like is it Boulder Puncher? Like I know plenty of Resident Evil critics and fans, but I have no idea what you're fucking talking about. Maybe it's the Kendo Report, right? There's plenty of channels that I've watched. I don't know this one.
But back to this file, at 9 months, the El Gigante grew so large, the town hall couldn't contain it. At 10 months, it was still growing even after moving to the quarry and was devouring a whole cow in only 3 days. At 13 months, it was swinging their large pickaxe like a twig. One of the villagers was nearly eaten since it was still starving. At 17 months, the village was nearly out of food, so they had to summon help from the castle and use an incantation to put the El Gigante to sleep. An incantation? What does that even mean?
Well, did you not pay attention to what happens before the fight? It goes glorious Las Plagas, and then the creature comes out, right? Those red guys that you see that chant that all the time have a thing where it gets inside your head and starts to kind of burrow inside it, right? So it turns out glorious Las Plagas is like basically a term that can do a lot of things, right?
Why is this kind of fantasy garbage in a Resident Evil title? Is this related to the hive mind that is demonstrated poorly in
What fantasy garbage? No, this is things that happen all the time. What, like, it's referring to the cult aspect of it, right? Now the people in the castle probably know it's actually just an activation phrase, right? But the villagers don't know that's what it is, right? So because there's an activation phrase that allows them to turn off certain effects of the plaga or turn them back on at will with a single little like bits of dialogue, you know. It's almost as if people are using this cult to as a ruse to hide the actual truth behind the conspiracy. Like there's a deeper conspiracy behind this, and that the villagers aren't aware of the actual conspiracy. They're only ever actually aware of like the things they're being told, and the people telling them these things aren't being truthful to them. But they are telling them certain lines of dialogue, and this is what they're writing. Yeah. Yeah. The cult is full of shit. Why did you think otherwise? Right, like it's an activation phrase that's probably pre-programmed into the Las Plagas parasite through the method of the host and whatever. So whenever one of those guys chants that, it sends like signals into other plaga host to do a certain thing, right? And for some of them, it wakes them up or puts them to sleep. While others, it like Leon, for example, it tries to activate the parasites earlier, right? So it does that with Leon as well as all the enemies in the area when they chant it enough, right? And it can eventually, when they run out of other enemies, work on themselves as well.
Evil 4 Remake. Why didn't the villagers or Vittorius Mendez contact the castle sooner if this uncontrollable BOW could be controlled this quickly? If the Illuminados cared for this BOW, why didn't they actively use the hive mind to keep it under control? Was Illuminados 4-9 written before, during, or after the events described in the rearing log? Was this first El Gigante considered a success? None of this makes any sense with the jumbled motivations, the poor communication between the Illuminados and villagers, and the fantasy garbage described here. This is such a mess in terms of complementary files. There is some additional information provided by the Resident Evil podcast team, as they believe that the Illuminados in this remake considered the first El Gigante a success in the sense that they created a subject that lived and achieved what they set out to create, despite discovering later on that the El Gigante wasn't as intelligent as they hoped. This mentality was similar to how the Tyrant in Resident Evil 1 Remake was a failure, but still considered successful to Umbrella in the sense that they still managed to make the first Tyrant and had built towards the goal of creating the ultimate life form. Also, with regard
Yeah, I mean, Duh, like that's the difference between a total failure and a partial failure. The Tyrants and the El Gigante are a partial failure. And this is, like, of course, referring to the organization. You're using the notes of people who are either being controlled through a religious text against, like without their actual knowledge of what's happening, as well as people who are talking about something with a bit of fear in their minds of what's going on because of how scary and strange it is. Yes.
To why the Illuminados haven't amended Illuminados 4.9 if the El Gigante wasn't what they envisioned. This chapter is probably here mainly for worshipping the fact that the Plaga had turned an infant child into a huge troll-like behemoth unlike anything humanity had ever seen.
Well, yeah, it's a religious text designed to hide their own failures and hubris by a cult started by scientists who were manipulating a village of people into thinking that they were gods. You know what? Instead of talking about Resident Evil, why don't you watch Road to El Dorado? That's exactly the plot of the movie. Man, or just pay attention to what happened with like the story behind Scientology's cult, or another one would be, of course, the Charles Manson murder cult. Another one you could pay attention to is like that one Jesus Camp documentary stuff, right? Helen Ukpabio's cult in Nigeria. She is literally a mass murdering piece of shit who kills people's children to this day, and makes snuff movies of it as a way to scare people into murdering their children whenever they are even remotely disobedient, saying that Jesus has given her the right to murder your kids because they have misbehaved slightly, and that's sinful enough for her to commit murder against your children and record this slow, torturous death she does to those kids for all to see, and then advertise that to the world, right, as a method of saying that people who don't kill their own kids whenever they misbehave are evil and they need to be punished, and that all the bad things that are happening in the world, in Europe and stuff, are because we aren't murdering our own children whenever they misbehave. This is literally a thing that happened. She is no longer allowed in England or America because of this as well. Helen Ukpabio is a real fucking piece of shit that exists to this day in Nigeria, and is a cultist right fucking now. Like, my guy, you are just ignorant to the world and this game. God damn. Imagine that, like, just not going outside is very much like a very big debuff on these guys.
The fact that the El Gigante had faults that deemed it impractical as a weapon is not related to Illuminato's doctrine. Also, in this room, there's a big skull that seems to be placed like it's for a memorial. The Resident Evil podcast team believes this was an early El Gigante that died during its growth. This sums up everything regarding this room. We make our way...
I mean, yeah. Again, who the fuck is this Resident Evil podcast? I have no fucking idea what he's talking about. Like, he keeps sourcing this as if it's like some ultimate source on anything. And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about, bruh? Like, the entire time. That's very weird, isn't it? Like, everyone's like, you know what this, like, reminds me of? This is like Dennis Prager, like, sourcing, like, a museum owner who's very conservative and also buys all the shitty art he criticizes in the video as an ultimate authority on modern art. Like, the guy never once mentions video games or movies or like any of the sculpture work or anything people do for commercial gain. Only the blatant scams that are going in museums and stuff. Well, not all of them are scams. Like, some of them are performance arts and stuff for entertainment and stuff, right? Like the guy who eats the banana thing, and the guy who, like, does performative art and stuff. That's all. All like as an entertainment performance rather than like any other form of art, right? or the art is purely in the moment for entertainment, right? And you had like the toilet seat one and shit, which are stupid as fuck. Like they do get people to talk about them, which I guess technically means they are successful, because that's the entire point of something like that. It's a troll, so the entire point of trolling is to get attention. But yeah, it is way too much money that those millionaire museum investors have spent on what amounts to a toilet, right? But like this guy is acting like it's all of modern art when video games exist. Magic the Like I think when I originally made the video, I dunked on him for like, dog, what about Magic the Gathering cards? And like the thing is, well, you see, these are people who have standards. I'm talking about people who don't have standards. I'm like, who cares? Like, yeah, some people have standards, some people don't. And you're saying that it's on us for rewarding that behavior, but none of us are rewarding that. The common folk reward like furry porn more than they will reward like that toilet in the museum, right? Like no one is rewarding the things you're talking about. People are rewarding like movies and games and like board game art and stuff like that. All these amazingly well-crafted, talented things. And you are complaining about a toilet in a museum that some schmuck paid for as a money laundering scheme. And well, I guess they're not a schmuck because they did it for money laundering purposes, but still, right? So yes, a money laundering scheme is happening, and your problem with it happening isn't that it's a money laundering scheme in the guise of art. It's actually that you think that somehow it's not a money laundering scheme, which is like very weird, Like how do you get people to fall for that shit? I really want to know. Like that's honestly weird to me.
To the church where Leon informs Hunnigan that he is unable to enter the church and that it seems this place is locked up really tight. This then prompts Hunnigan to act out a character and say in a witty response, I can think of one reason they'd want to do so.
What? I'm pretty sure the wit isn't for a joke necessarily, but for the fact that she probably, because remember, beforehand you were somewhat tipped off that she might be in this church. So now the church is locked and he can't get in easily. And she's saying she's thinking of one reason they might want to do it, which is implying, because the last area you were tipped off to didn't have Ashley, that this is where she actually is. And if you notice, she's right. They locked it up because she was there this time. Funny that, like how the statement she says isn't just some joke, but is a hunch that she has. And that hunch is proven right, and you are being critical of that as it's out of character that Hunnigan is correct about something that's pretty obvious, and apparently a Hunnigan being correct about something is out of character for the research lady in the games. I mean, she's not really that informed in the original game, I guess, but she's very informed in 6. And I guess that really more goes to the fact that in the original game, she doesn't really have much time to actually give you, proper intel for most of the game, right? And also in the remake too, to be fair. Whereas in 6, she is pretty 1-to-1 with Leon, because it turns out that Leon in 6 and also the later movies where she's in, right, at that point he's been talking it's she kind of knows because she's there, right, physically observing what's happening around her, right? So yes, the intelligence agency being right isn't out of character. And in fact is actually very much in character for her, right? And yes, while she doesn't have that much sarcasm, I guess, of why, this isn't even sarcasm, this is pretty obvious that she's saying, yeah, Ashley is probably in there this time because they didn't lock up the last bit. And it's strange that they would lock up this one, but not the last one. if this is also a decoy, right? That's what she's hinting at, right? That because they locked this one up really tight, and the only way in there is a specific key he hasn't encountered yet, that it might be he has to find the way in there because she's pretty much absolutely in there. And she's correct, 100% as well. So, what's the issue here? Like, she's correct. And it's not really sarcasm or a joke. She's just correct.
For a character that has very few lines in this pre-alpha, they sure chose the
And even then, look, see, Leon figures it out too. Yeah, she's here.
wrong kinds of quotes for her to say. You don't need to make a character sound witty or laugh at the wrong moment for them to be engaging. God,
Where did she laugh? She just said that. She just said that she can, like, yes. What? She's not allowed to sound human at all, right? Like, I guess like she is a secret agent woman, but she sounds human in the 6th game, and really she only doesn't really sound super like human in the original game. Primarily because Leon isn't talking to her as a person until like except for a couple scenes in the game as well, right? And so because it's more of a deadpan from Leon and a deadpan from Leon, you also get a deadpan from Hunnigan. Except for at the end where Leon flirts, then she gets like a little bit of a personality to her, right? But the thing is, Leon isn't really showing her much of a personality either. So now in this game, they're both showing personalities back and forth. So that's why they're acting more human in both parts. Yeah, and it turns out that the banter is in the remake is why she has banter as well. You know? And what's funny is like these guys are like basically mad at like the best dialogue of all time, right? I bet you like these guys would hate Lord of the Rings or Pirates of the Caribbean because that's literally all the dialogue in those movies, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's perfect for that, right?
inside the side area in the church.
Like the reason why a lot of movies have turned into try to replicate the Pirates of the Caribbean is because it's goated dialogue writing, right? Like Pirates of the Caribbean is literally all witty banter, but the reason why it's all witty banter is the dialogue is designed to be written as if people are talking to each other in real life, and that's just how people talk, right? Like if you have that, like that's how people talk normally. And so, like in movies, movies with like super secret agent stuff and stuff like that, they tend to have characters be like less human-esque to give them a mysterious vibe, right? Especially horror games. So that's why Hunnigan has this mysterious allure in the original. Now, in the remake, they take that away because, well, half the time you're going to have Luis and Ada anyway. So why give her that, right, when she doesn't need it? And having a more human side to the character is probably preferable anyway to people, right? That's all.
Photo of Ashley tied up. I'm surprised they decided to not have her tied up when they locked her in that room in the church. After that, we make our way onto a scaffolding area.
Yeah, that's actually a thing, right? Maybe she did get loose, though. She might have been tied up and got loose, too.
And are introduced to Molotov enemies.
Yeah, so look how easy that was.
Wow, he's not even flailing all over the place. That's just flail animation.
Yeah, he doesn't flail right away, and then he flails, right? Now, you flail right away, to be fair, because it's punishing you for taking damage, but they don't flail right away because they have stronger, like, durability in their bodies, so you have to, they'll do that, and you take a bit, but then they'll start flailing, and they'll just die.
Oh my god, how can they call themselves AAA developers if they can't even deliver a convincing flail animation when on fire?
I mean, the flail animation looked fine. That's how people flail away with fire. I mean, what, are they not stopping, dropping, and rolling? Is that the issue? I mean, that's what you should do, right? I mean, have you seen, like, that one homeless woman from, I should probably show that. Like, the homeless woman that guy set on fire is just kind of, like, like this is like really freaky, but this is like an actual thing that happened, right? So let me like show you this, right? This is like homeless woman set on fire, right? Oh, yeah, here we go. We see if they actually like don't blur it out the entire time. They probably do. Oh yeah, this is another thing. The police did nothing, literally nothing, in this scenario.
Police have not identified officials.
He's like not identified. Like literally, that's the worst part. He was literally right there, fanning the flames too. I'm trying to see if I can find the video. Like, let's see, is there someone who just shows the video? Like without like a bunch of censorship. But yeah, like this is her flailing, right? She's not moving that much, right? This is like this is like an actual person flailing in like literally barely moving, right? This is literally her. I can get the uncensored video.
NYPD officer stationed outside the subway car seemingly did nothing as the fire was spreading. The incident has sparked outrage across the woman believed to
I can't fucking find the videos I found on Twitter. But anyway, she like kind of just like slowly moves forward, like very slowly, like her muscles haven't even can barely fucking function. Because she was asleep, and she probably like by the time she woke up, she was already basically dead anyway. But yeah, you don't necessarily flinch like you think when you're burning. And so, like, what that's meant to do with them as well is that they're flailing after it starts to hurt the parasite instead of their bodies. So yeah.
Evil within. The enemy will be dead from the fire and will be flailing around. Look at that again. He's not even set on fire. What's he? Look at him. He's just walking right through the fucking fire, and he's not being set on fire.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you're actually set on fire, IRL, right? Like you don't actually flinch like that. Like you could actually call out the inconsistencies where Leon gets set on fire immediately, and they are more durable to it. But then again, it also makes sense that Leon would take damage more immediately because they have the durability boost of the plug fully in them, and Leon does not. What's humorous about this? The fact that you're gonna die because you won't fucking fight the enemy?
Let's get a round of applause to the animation department of this AAA development team that used to be revered.
I mean, yeah, that's how people actually react to fire. What's wrong with that, right? Have you never actually seen someone on fire? I mean, I just showed you it, so what they would show you on the news. They wouldn't show you much. I have to actually like go on like Rumble or something to find that uncensored. But like yeah, she's literally on fire, right? And she's barely like reacting to it as well. Like her whole fucking body is consumed in flames. She died, by the way. Just so you know, the guy is a murderer, not just an attempted murderer. And the police literally just stood there, watched him walk out casually, and watched her like dying, and just looked at her. Had all the bystanders wondering why they were doing nothing, and all of that nothing happened. Right? She just kept burning till she died, and he just kept laughing, watching, fapping a bit, and then fanning the flames. And that's New York City subway for you, by the way. And like, yeah, there were plenty of police officers who walked by and did nothing the entire time.
He's in the fire and he's not even being set on fire. Look at that. They thought this game was status gold, like ready to be released to the
Well, he is set on fire. You didn't see his pants on fire?
public.
So that's what happens normally when you're on fire. At least a bit of you is on fire.
That is really cheap. Putting a spawn right there. You have no time to react to that.
I react to it pretty stably all the time. What are you talking about?
Look at him. Why doesn't he just put him into the kill animation instantly? He has to stand in the fire a bit before he actually dies?
Yes, that's what happens with fire. Do you know how fire works, right? Like it takes a bit, right? Because all fire really is oxidization and heat on someone's body, right? So the oxidization doesn't kick in right away, so that's why fire takes a bit to spread.
Why does it have to be so gamey and lacking any logic?
Gamey and lacking any logic, it lacks none of that. It's very much realistic and not lacking logic, because that's how it works in real life. Yeah, see, like, he's on fire, right? His shirt's on fire, his pants are on fire. He's not engulfed in flames because this fire isn't that hot right now. Like, there's no blue fire right now, right, for example. And it's not burning, it's slowly burning out because of the wind, as well as, the fact that he's just, like, there, right? So, yeah, it's not going to burn as much. Like, he doesn't have... Does he have any oil on his clothes besides the shirt? Most likely not. So, his pants are burning just less than his shirt, because his shirt is what actually has the oil on it. And then the rest of his body is slowly becoming on fire, but isn't right now. Yeah, that's like... See? He's all on fire now.
Wow. He was standing in the fire for that long of a duration, and he...
Yeah. How do you think fire works?
He somehow didn't get set fully on fire.
He is on fire fully. What are you talking about? Look at that. All on fire.
Goodness me. The fire is so badly implemented.
It's implemented well. I mean, I would argue that that's actually a bit of a criticism on it not being fully committed to being a game, maybe. I mean, because instead of committing to the game sense of it doesn't matter if it's realistic, it matters if it's fun, right? I mean, I find it fun regardless, but like, still, it's definitely not that realistic for Leon to be set on fire immediately. But it is realistic for it to take time before it really does anything to enemies, because it's how it works in real life. Fire isn't an instant anything. It's just heat and oxygen, right? And you can easily, like, roll around and stuff to get rid of it as well. There's a lot of things you can do to get rid of fire too.
Buggy. It's so clunky. It is such a mess.
It's not really clunky or messy. It's actually very much pretty easily predictable. The real question is, why aren't you killing the enemy up there, and why is that guy there? Oh wow, you actually dodged an attack. I didn't expect that.
Look at him just standing in the fire, not being set on fire.
Yeah, because that's how it works. That's how fire works, buddy. Do you not know how fire works, buddy?
They're just standing in the fire, and she's not even getting set on fire.
Yeah. I mean, she is set on fire, just not in the parts that it wouldn't make sense to be set on fire. Notice how he keeps making up terms that he, like, clearly don't mean what it is. Like, first he said animation quality when the animation was fine. Then he said, it's unrealistic when it's perfectly realistic. Then he said, art direction, which actually might be something you could argue for. If that is ever given an indication that that's how they wanted to perform, which you would be able to say that if you showed Leon getting put on fire as well as a contrasting point. Let's see if he does.
It shouldn't even be designed like that. As soon as you shoot that Molotov in their hand, they should be set on fire, and they should be...
But that's not how that works.
...flailing around. But no, it has to be this clunky with its detection.
It's not clunky, that's just how fire works. You know how fire works? Have you ever, like, tried to set yourself on fire? Did you know that if you put your hand on a stove, it'll take a bit to even hurt you? It can take up to like 3 seconds if you put your hand on a burner to actually hurt you. I do not recommend it because, like, it's 3 seconds after, right? So, like, if you do it immediately, it could still hurt, but it'll take 3 seconds before it hurts, right? And if you stick your hand in it for 3 seconds, that thing will fucking... Yeah. But like it'll take a few seconds to do that, right? It doesn't happen instantly. Your hand will not be set ablaze immediately by the burner. But when it does get set ablaze, it will fucking burn, and it will be very extreme too. You can have not just second degree, but third degree burns where literally your flesh is melted to the bone, right? But it takes time to do that, especially in like this scenario where it's not controlled by gasoline entirely, right? There's a bit of gasoline involved, but not enough to like not controlled gasoline either. Because remember, like in a burner, it's also a consistent flow of gasoline as well. All right. Have you noticed that he hasn't fought these guys in this entire thing? He's just trying to parry them. I noticed Leon in there, he wasn't set on fire either. He just kind of like wailed it off because he didn't want to get set on fire. It takes Leon about the same time actually to get set on fire in this game. But he will try to wail it off immediately because he doesn't want to get hurt, right? Whereas these guys will not because they have a stronger, more durable body, and they're more dead set on killing Leon than anything else.
Wow. The whole deflect system with the Molotov is pathetic. You can't aim the Molotov properly when you're deflecting. Leon just aims the Molotov in whatever direction he so chooses. He doesn't redirect it back at the enemy. And this time, when I deflected that Molotov, he dropped it right at his legs. So he set himself on fire.
Well, yeah. That's called don't rely on a mechanic to, like that, you know, to defeat an enemy, right? Like, why are you relying on parry mechanics to defeat an enemy in a shooter, right? Like, the entire point is to avoid damage, and even then it doesn't work all the time. So maybe you should do the other part of CC, which is dead enemies and kill shit. You haven't been doing that a lot lately. I've noticed that, like, you've done even less than you have in the previous two videos that I've made on this, like the previous 2 hours of this, and it's still like you're bad at the game, dude. Just stop being bad at the game. Stop being bad at the game. Fuck you for being bad at the game.
What an awful mechanic. Just have it cancel out the Molotov. If this redirect system is this useless.
No, he's being healed. Oh, sorry, rush him.
Yeah, I have no idea what like the point of that was at all, to be honest.
I'm lost. Alone, scared, and cold. Yo, I'm gonna get hypothermia in 30 seconds.
Those of us who were listening, how do you change worlds?
So, head to the town of Whalebone.
What? He's pretty.
Little survival MMO. Okay.
He spawns behind you. Gotta love these weird arbitrary spawn moments. That guy was
I mean, it's not really weird or arbitrary. He just spawns behind you.
not there, and as soon as I get near the ladder, he spawns behind me.
Yeah, and they did that because they knew you wouldn't be looking at him at that point, so they did that.
Clear representation of the downgrading quality this pre-alpha's mechanics are. Running past these enemies, we get to the quarry area, where Leon once again displays how dense he is in this remake. When he examines this giant hammer or pickaxe or whatever this thing is...
It's a hammer, right? You see, like, the entire point is... it's a battle hammer, actually. The entire point is one end is for knocking, like if there's armor you can't crack, you knock this end, right? The big, like thick end, right? You knock that against like a part of armor to kind of break the bone. And then this is like, if it's the helmet and a weaker part of it, you crack through the helmet and break their skin with it, right? And it's very much like designed to have this be a fulcrum for a massive amount of pressure to someone's vital areas, right? Like that's how hammers work. Yes. How all weapons really work, but like hammers especially are incredibly deadly in real life. Like a blunt weapon like this is amazing in a war scenario. I don't think this guy knows that this end is way more deadly than this end.
He says, which is such an odd thing to say. I could understand him saying something like, why would they make something like this? Or who did they build this for? Not this kind of line. Why does he...
But it's somewhat of a joke from Leon, the guy who also talked about bingo and kumbaya earlier, both in the original and so Leon makes jokes in the original, and it's fine, and he makes jokes in the remake that are new, and then it's not fine, right? But these are jokes that he would probably make in both versions. And your problem is that he makes jokes? Like what?
Not stop to question why they made this thing in the first place. Once again, his bizarre cavalier attitude shows itself here. And the thing is, there is no reason for this giant tool to exist, as the El Gigante doesn't use it in his boss fight. So what was the point in introducing it?
Well, the point of introducing it was that it was to say that the enemy exists. Now, it wasn't to say that he will use it because, hey, the enemy isn't intelligent enough to pick it up. But it is, however, intelligent enough to use the other ones. Another thing is it's also outside of the arena, like right outside it. However, it could have used it if it was inside it. Now, it could be that because of how they had to do the trapping of him and stuff, that they didn't actually think it through, because it turns out they don't think through everything in the game when it comes to the enemies, because it's still a beatable enemy, right? If they thought everything through, it would make no sense on how Leon beat them, right, in either version of the game. But they don't, and those little cracks of flaws show back to bite them in the ass. And perhaps one of the most blatantly obvious ones is the fact that the El Gigante cannot lift that hammer because it's not in the arena where it shows up. Yeah.
But we enter this area that will be the boss arena for the El Gigante, and we have two Colmillos. Colmillos are a subpar enemy. The shotgun's good against them. They flinch from the pistol kinda well, and you can kill them pretty quickly with the knife by stabbing them when they're stunned. Stabbing them instead of doing the knife execution saves a significant amount of knife durability. I don't know why the difference in knife durability loss is so vast. It's almost like the
notice how he doesn't use a flashbang there, by the way, to actually fight the Cameo and get all the crows at once. This is a thing that usually is a telltale sign of someone who isn't good at even the original game when they don't do that, because that's like the most obvious and well-known way to get good rewards from that specific setting, is to use a flashbang and get all of them.
For the knife execution. And what's really dumb about the knife execution on the Colmillos is that you don't get iframes, even though it looks pretty similar to the general ground execution animation that you can do against the Ganados. That animation gives you iframes, but not this animation. Why this inconsistency?
Oh yeah, that actually is a valid complaint. Why are they inconsistent? I do agree there.
Also have horrendous hitboxes. They can grab you before they even touch you.
No, that sounds about right. Their paw touched you, and then they started doing the animation.
And they have phantom range extended to the left and right whenever they do the grab. So even when it looks like they'll miss, you'll still get grabbed. This is not an issue in Resident Evil 4 OG. The audio under footsteps is almost non-existent as well, which complements their broken hitboxes and terrible pathfinding.
I've never had a problem hearing them. I mean, I pay attention better, maybe. That's probably part of it, but I've literally never had this issue you speak of.
In sequences like the maze encounter, where the Cornmeal spawn weirdly into the map. And then there's the mutation. The mutation that these Cornmeos can trigger is bonkers. Even though this mutation is just the Plaga emerging from their backs, that's all it takes to give unjustified properties to the Cornmeos. They not only regain all their health when they mutate, but the health increase provided by the mutation is absurd, to the point where they can take 2 knife executions, or so many shotgun shells, and still be alive, which disincentivizes you from partaking in the knife execution most of the time. They also no longer flinch from the pistol unless you shoot them out of the air when they attack, or when they decide to flinch out of the blue. The knockdown provided by the shotgun is also inconsistent, requiring at least 2 shots to knock them over unless you shoot them out of the air. They also get a change to their movement style, where they can jump a short distance in either direction to toy with you.
How bad is his fucking shotgun? But, like, is he talking about unupgraded? Like, is this his no merchant run or something? But, like, do you know that you can upgrade your weapons and buy new ones at the merchant?
When you try to shoot them, and when they're in this state, they're able to do a very fast long-range attack that either hits you or grabs
Like, is he actually just never used the merchant this playthrough? Maybe that's why he doesn't know about the laser sight. He just never used the merchant.
attack only serves to complement the general squirrely combat.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he never uses the merchant, most likely, right? Like, all his weapons are ones you get for free, right? A lot of which are unupgraded, it looks like, the entire time. And he never uses the laser sight either. Wait, what the fuck is this guy's, like, deal, right? He's criticizing the game on his poor decision-making skills a lot, it seems. Like, what, like, why are you using the Red 9 with no stock, right? At this point in the game. Why are you using an unupgraded shotgun and then getting mad that the unupgraded shotgun isn't as strong as it probably seems it should be at this point in the game? Like, what are we on about?
Poor design's already apparent with them. Dealing with mutated Cornmeos requires you to kill them before they transform. You can also run away from them to force them to sprint after you, instead of having them favor the movement style that toys with you.
Like, what?
They'll do the jump attack that allows you to shoot them out.
Oh, right, this is a guy who did a no merchant run, isn't it? Right? Did I watch his no merchant run? Did I? So this guy is complaining about shit that he set himself, and is mad. But is he, like, I don't even fucking, like, this guy is clearly just grifting off his Resident Evil content because he wants to be a fucking retard, I guess. Like, there's no other way to describe this than he's using the fact that he, like, wait, yeah, because 5 rounds in the shotgun is the base. So he's just not using upgrades at all.
Consistently and finish them off when they're on the ground. These Cornmeos can be just as terrible as the dogs in Resident Evil 1 Remake, which are the worst dog enemy types ever because of their poor design. But that's for another.
Their poor design. What, you shoot them 3 times and they're dead? What?
Moving on, we now need to get fuel for the boat. By the way, in Chapter 3, the flash grenade recipe is unlocked in the Merchant. It's important you get it because the balancing in the later combat encounters can be so bad that it's best to spam flash grenades. Flash grenades only require a large resource and 5 gunpowder to craft, which is quite insane given how much the pre-alpha spawns a lot of large resources. I think this shows just how much flash grenades moderate the fundamental flow of gameplay, and how certain sections feel designed.
No, not really. I mean, you can avoid it just fine. I know I do. I probably should start spamming them sometimes, but you don't have to, ever.
Why he's an optional feature. Of course, Separate Ways Remake better highlights how forceful the Merchant can be in influencing the fundamental flow of gameplay. And speaking of the Merchant, can I just say how odd it is that they try to make him seem like he exists in this universe?
He does in the original, too. Did you know that they have the Merchant be a canon character in the original game, too?
In Resident Evil 4 OG, there are only 3 cutscenes involving him. One of them was optional and the others weren't, but Leon remained silent during these cutscenes. Now, I know that Leon can find the merchant at that part of the lake in Chapter 2-1 if he decides to use the boat, and he can comment on the merchant's collection, but given that you have to go so far off the main path, it doesn't make sense logically for Leon to do this, so I consider it a meta-game moment. And
But no, the merchant is a character. Yes.
again, he doesn't say anything, it's just text on the screen. In Resident Evil 4 Remake, Leon acknowledges his presence and even comments on his weaponry by saying there's enough to start a party. Then, in Separate Ways Remake, Ada literally has a conversation with him. Just like with the Duke in the canon timeline, why does New Capcom try to make the merchant, who is practically a gameplay mechanic given human form with some of the most absurd capabilities ever?
Why do they want the most liked character in Resident Evil 4 to be an actual character? Again, because he was an actual character in the original game, you fucking retard. But anyway, why do they want to? Have you played any game that referenced Resident Evil 4 ever? He is the best character of all time, right? Everyone loves this character, and you're saying, oh, this character that everyone loves should not have any presence in the game again, right? And then he clearly doesn't. He clearly doesn't have a presence. He has a fucking presence in the game. The fuck are you on, right? Like, yeah, Leon doesn't have like dialogue outside of cutscenes in like in the original game, right? So when you observe stuff, it just says like it just shows Leon's talking in text, right? Which is also what happens when he says he's not a zombie, right? Whereas in the remake, he just verbalizes it. But it's the same stuff, so I don't fucking get this one at all. I mean, I do, like, you're retarded, but, like, you know, outside of that, you know, like, a more legitimate reason for why you think the merchant of all things should not be a character?
Seem diegetic to the universe of Resident Evil. I don't get it. Also, this area introduces the shooting range, which I've only gone to once in my entire playtime at Resident Evil 4 Remake for the purposes of this retrospective, because it is so boring and repetitive.
Okay, well, alright.
And also, as Carcinogen SDA pointed out in part 1 of his walkthrough, the shooting range highlights the problems with the reticle and general shooting mechanics, and how you're
Yeah, so it helps you learn how to do it, and you also learn the flaws, which will allow you to engage in doing like some those mechanics to further your skill later. Yes.
accuracy can at times feel luck dependent, like when you're trying to shoot the skull emblems and you miss, even when your crosshair is directly over the emblem. But scoring in the shooting range and also fulfilling certain objectives allows you to gain access to tokens that, when combined in a certain set of 3, allows you to gain access to charms, which provide certain passive benefits when they're attached to the attaché case. The charms feel very jarring in the context of a survival horror title, almost on par with XP boosts or loot boxes in RPG titles. It makes Resident Evil 4 Remake feel like a mobile title rather than a single-player focused.
I mean, they don't really do much except for like the legendary ones. It's free. And it uses the fact that like there was a gacha mechanic and like it was kind of like gacha-y in the original game, where you got random pop caps in the original game. Now you get random bottle caps, but now like they're actually randomly generated. And instead of just getting a bunch of money for collecting them, you actually get like bonuses that have tangible benefits. So yeah.
It feels like instead of making very creative set pieces and combat encounters that are actually balanced and demonstrate the supposed creativity of Resident Evil 4 Remake with a bit more elegance and thought, they instead strip the sections bare and just use the charm system to amend certain fundamental designs to give the illusion of creativity. It just contributes to half-assed mentalities. It's not like having these charms drastically changes the gameplay experience, with or without.
Well, yeah, that's the entire point. That's that they don't do much. They're little bonuses that you can occasionally get really good use out of, but otherwise they're not needed, so there's no real reason to worry about them.
How can they favor this idea when trying to justify the replayability of this title? I only continue to replay this title because it's the most recent Resident Evil title, so therefore, more time is devoted to that kind
So he's being brain rot? Like he's just letting his audience capture him?
So I find more reason to continue making content for it, covering its shortcomings, and also because I'm trying to salvage something from this mess of a Resident Evil title. It's the
Salvage something, like what? Trying to play the fucking game, maybe?
titles that disappoint you within your favorite series, that tend to draw the most attention, whether you realize it or not. Also, given that gaming isn't exactly swimming with interesting content at this time, Resident Evil 4 Remake is the closest I can get to my preferred style of content. Finally, a vast majority of my audience prefers my Resident Evil 4 Remake content. It's not because of any supposed replay value that I continue to do content.
Well, it is because of replay value. If it wasn't, then, you wouldn't do it.
For this pre-alpha. And if the charm system is new Capcom's idea of replayability, that is feeble. But that's all I have to say.
Well, no, their form of replayability is all the speedrun rewards you get, and all the other like challenge run rewards you get, including one that you seem to be doing but are not open about here, right? Where you aren't using the merchant as a form of upgrading throughout your playthrough at all. Except maybe buying knife durability. It seems that's about it.
More discussion on the merchant may be covered in the later chapters. We now need to get fuel for the boat in order to make our way across the lake. This requires going through a lot of ganados patrolling in this fish farm area. This sequence is time-consuming doing it stealthily, so just rush your way through it and knock back any enemies with the shotgun. This sequence is another example of where, despite going into combat, certain enemies aren't aware of you and are still going on their regular patrol routes, which can help in this part. After grabbing the fuel, you'll want to take the time to deal with any enemies rushing you, get up the ladder, deal with the crossbow ganado, then wait. Since you grab the fuel, more enemies spawn at the side of the map where you drop down from, but they aren't aware of you. There's a brute, some torch ganados, and a female ganado with a crossbow. You can wait for them to move while you're busy fending off the ganados that are aware of your presence. As soon as they've moved away enough, you can get past. You can also use at least one flash grenade to stun them and get past them if you want to get out faster, which ends this boring sequence.
Boring. Oh man, yeah, this guy is clearly lying, and 4 views. Like if it's clear, like it's objective at this point. But yeah.
We now get our first boss, if you want to call it that, which is Delago.
I mean, in the original, it was kind of like that as well.
Before OG, Delago could be killed in about 15 harpoons, and there were some moments where you could be clever with your timing and aiming to end the fight faster. And while the controls for the boat weren't the best, and there were moments where Delago hit you in ways that were unavoidable, I still find Delago to be a short but sweet change to the gameplay of Resident Evil 4 OG, in my opinion. In Resident Evil 4 Remake, Delago is tiresome. He has quite a lot of life, and every time he submerges after trying to hit you when you're forced to sit still, he regains HP. Why? If he's going to regain HP in an unjustified manner, the developers might as well have just increased his initial HP. Why?
I mean, yeah, true.
The developers opt for regenerating his life. It really comes across like the developers are trolling. When throwing harpoons against Delago, you can throw them faster by mashing the firing button while Leon is prepping the harpoon. Once Leon throws it, you let go of the aiming button and do the same thing again, allowing you to deal more damage in shorter cycles. Charging your harpoons also deals slightly more damage than throwing it quickly. Hitting Delago in the mouth when it's open allows you to deal more damage and stun him when he attacks you when you're sitting still. In general, you'll be killing Delago when you get to the 3rd phase, but it is possible to kill him in less than a minute and avoid having to go into the next phases. However, the methodology is very specific in when you turn the boat, how accurate you are when hitting him, and understanding where and when he emerges, so you're not going to get it on your first try. I don't really care to elaborate on this, as this encounter is very boring. One thing that is good about this encounter is that your HP is tied to the boat, not to Leon, so even if you do take damage, it will not transfer into the next chapter, unless in an incredibly rare instance, Delago hits you slightly after you nail the final shot. And I say incredibly rare, yet this issue occurred while I was making this retrospective.
Oh, wow. I've never had that happen. I will say that.
One of my subscribers describes, if you don't do the full chase in the 2nd phase and instead decide to throw more than 5 harpoons before he dives in the 2nd phase, he will hide early and this path for the 3rd phase will mess up, which is what leads to this issue occurring. And aside from this issue, it is annoying how there are instances, primarily in the 3rd phase, where Delago turns, jumps, or does a move that makes you turn into the obstacles in this lake in such a way that you're unable to avoid them and take damage in the process. That is a poor
I've never had that happen.
design choice. But once he's dead, Leon ends up coughing up blood and fainting in the boat as a result of.
Oh wait, it wasn't unavoidable. He just had to turn right, and he just didn't do it in time.
And beginning his infection. That's what I assume is happening, though. Given that there was a hive mind sequence back in chapter 2, and Torres Mendez seemed to draw out the Plaga's symptoms while choking out Leon, you have to wonder if the Plaga hatched or not back in that chapter.
I mean, probably. It would make sense. Like they are like physically a Plaga like for quite a while in the original TOE, so it probably did hatch about this time.
We then get another hive mind sequence with Sadler saying the same.
Well, it's not a hive mind. It's that Sadler is using the communication he uses from the main parasite through that like sound wave thing you're doing to transfer. Because here's the thing, right? Sound and all that is and imageries and all that is all your brain that is your brain's doing, right? So because the parasite is feeding on your mind, it could also like send information to it, right? So Sadler is communicating with you through the parasite. The parasite is then communicating the images of him and the word to you, telepathically, using the fact that the parasite communicates through sound waves. So now he can do this because that's a cool little thing about the brain parasite. Yeah, fun little fact.
Thing he said in chapter 2, before adding on that when day breaks, Leon will become a ganado subservient to Sadler's influence forever. I still don't understand how this hive mind is possible.
It's not a hive mind. That's how it's possible. It's not a hive mind. It's scrambling his brain using things that the parasite already does, in the original game, but developing that further into not just audio, but also physical and not physical, but like visual and audio illusions.
The Plaga injected into Leon came from Sadler or anything. I highly doubt Leon's parasite is somehow hearing sound waves emanating from Sadler's dominant Plaga. It makes no sense how this mechanism works.
I mean, they tell you how it works in the movie and games as well, right? They already say how it works. You already discussed how it works. You're just not getting it because you on purpose, because you want to complain about something. Because it gives you money, I guess? I don't know.
That you get later on would have you believe that the sound emanates across the valley, but that just sounds absurd. And what about
what do you mean it sounds absurd? It happens all the fucking time. Like in real life, there are things that do that. That are fucking talking about. Like the fact that it happens in real life with certain creatures, certain like insects and stuff should kind of tell you that yeah, it can happen. Now, obviously, the parasite itself is probably like more of the less realistic part than anything else here.
Sadler is at the island. The island isn't exactly close to the mainland, so am I supposed to believe that the sound waves coming from Sadler's dominant Plaga are traveling that distance to get to areas like the village or the castle?
Yeah, that would be about like half an hour of town traveling at most. Let's see. So actually no. Sound travels 700 miles an hour. I used to look. What's the speed of sound? Because that's like how fast it'll travel, right? It's the speed of sound, right? So it's 343 meters per second, or 1,235 kilometers per hour, right? Or 767 miles per hour. So right, 767 miles per hour, and then the size of the game, like in total, right, is about I'd say about like maybe so like each area is about like 1 second of sound, right? So if like it's like about like and then like the big areas are about 5 seconds of sound, right? So it's about like 2 or 3 minutes at most. So yeah, sound travels very fucking like far if you do it right. Yeah,
There's no way that makes sense.
it does make sense if you actually fucking know the speed of sound. It's very fast.
How could the sound waves possibly reach ganados that are in various parts of the world if Sadler needs to introduce a hive mind moment to any of those ganados?
It doesn't have. It's not a hive mind. He's communicating with them telepathically through sound waves from a distance, and sound travels a lot faster and farther than you think, right? You don't hear it, but you're not the one that needs to hear it. They are. And then they communicate those images and stuff to you, but he is the one distributing it to it, so it doesn't need anywhere near as much information because he's distributing it from parasite to parasite, and then you are seeing the information.
What about when reaching hosts of the superior species Plaga who have more of their
That's also why when Leon is closer to Sadler, the thing is even strengthened as well, right? So it's not just the time, but also the distance, right? So when he's right up in Sadler's fucking cock, about to give him a blowjob, right? Like Leon, like when Leon is blowjob distance away from Osmond Sadler, right? Did you know that? Like this is how it works, right? So when Leon is blowjob distance away from Sadler, Leon, he'll actually like, get more of the effect of it. It's almost as if Sadler is stronger because the distance is less. Yeah, that's how it works.
faculties and consciousness preserved. This is yet another confusing moment introduced by this fantastical hive mind concept.
Well, it's not really that confusing. You're just not understanding it because you're a fucking loser. That's not my fault. That's your fault. That's not the game developer's fault either. It's your fault. If you don't understand how something works because you don't study science or have any actual intelligence of your own, that's your fault, not anyone else's. Like, the game isn't even that big. It's about, like, maybe, like 10 miles at most. Not a lot of distance that Leon has to travel in the game. Like, other than the island, which might be, like, another 10 miles, so maybe 20 miles, right? So keep in mind, right? 20 miles, right? Let's do 767, right? So, 767, right? So, divided by 60, right, is 12. So about 2 minutes is how long it takes at most from any given point in the game, and that's if like the island is 10 miles away, and Leon is at the starting location of the game, which is the game is about 20 miles away, like at any given time at most. And that's being generous. So, about a minute at most send signals is the distance.
Extends his hand towards Leon, tentacles come out of him, and this makes Leon think he's being taken over, like he's in a nightmare. This makes Leon wake up and start checking himself. All of a sudden, his boat starts leaking, and Leon doesn't seem to be bothered by this for some reason. He's able to get back to shore before the boat sinks.
I mean, he does seem bothered by it. He literally has a frown on him and starts to worry and gets out of there before it sinks, yeah. But
Texts Hunnigan, who then tells him he's been radio silent for 3 hours. When asked if he's okay, Leon simply states that he's fine and that he'll continue searching for this key that opens the church, which makes no sense. He was coughing up blood. He clearly was aware of the contents of his nightmare if he was checking himself.
yeah, so what you're asking is why why isn't he an emotional little twat on his job? That's what you're saying, right? Like, he's saying he's physically fine. He's not talking about what happened because, he's not even sure what's real, really. If he's seeing shit, he's, like, obviously, how does he even know he coughed up blood earlier? Like, he was seeing shit in the dream. Maybe he was seeing shit IRL.
He's clearly seeing and hearing someone that he's only seen in portraits. This should get him thinking about what Mendez said to him back in...
Well, you say it should, but would it? No, most people would not think anything about that, right? Maybe Leon should, but like most people would actually be like the cult and just let it happen. I know this because I've thought, like, I hang out with people and I know how dumb people can be.
Chapter 2 about how his blood has accepted accepted the gift. But
In fact, do you know how I know people can be that dumb? People will swear on to no end that Elon Musk is not a child molester when he admits to molesting his son ex Iachi Musk all the time on Twitter, and forces people to listen to those tweets because he won't let you block him. He will spam the site to make sure you see everything he says. And he will constantly barrage you with it. Kiwi Farms has dunked on him for being that, right? But there will be people, like honest people, who will see all that and swear that the open child molester is not a pedophile, right? So you're saying that people will never be dumb, but there's a very clear evidence that that's not how it works, Buster. Maybe you should, maybe you should like pay attention to real life. Like people are retarded, and you should learn that real quick. It might help you understand why millions of people like this game because it's fun and don't give a shit about your complaints. Because Leon seems to be about like an average Joe. Like if that's what you're saying is that he's dumb. Now it's not what actually is true, but humanity as a whole is pretty dumb. So I don't know like why dumbness would be a complaint, right? The only people who complain about stupid people is other stupid people, right? Because smart people don't actually have any time to waste complaining about stupid people. And retarded people know they're don't even know they're retarded, so because they're too dumb to know, right? So only midwits, right? The average Joe actually complains about stupid people. And what's funny is midwits are also the intelligence bracket that is always wrong, right? The standard metric of intelligence are the people that are always wrong. The retards and the geniuses are always right, and then the midwits are always wrong. That's how the intelligence bell curve works, just so you know.
before continuing his mission, but apparently not. Once again, his cavalier attitude shows itself here, like he's defending some false pride or something. And it's cavalier to the point where it doesn't feel logical or human. And he's talking with Hunnigan, someone who needs to be continually informed of everything happening.
Okay, you say that, but does she? Right, like I don't think you know how these things work, buddy. It's all right, but you don't. Man, maybe he needs some law enforcement in his family. Maybe that'll help him figure this shit out. Right, like he's begging for YouTube commenters to tell him how things work, which is crazy. Like YouTube commenters telling you how things work is like insane. That's the least trustworthy group because most of them are bots and a lot of them are programmed to lie to you to tell you what you want to hear. So this guy is this guy telling you that like it's that's how military work or whatever, right? Where is it? Where's the guy, right? Yeah, I've responded to all of these except this one because it's funny. Or this one. I got new comments I got to respond to because this guy's very much stupid. Okay. Where's this guy? Right? Oh yeah, here we go. Right. So this guy is telling him how officers work or whatever. Which is not true. This is implying that all officers and military personnel maintain their training on the field, which is demonstrably false, right? But this guy is relying on that, right? You notice how he's hearting the comment too because it's a bot farm, right? This is how you know it's a bot farm. People who are actual people don't heart all their comments that are agreeing with them. In any way, like that is a false engagement thing that tells me that everyone who does that is a piece of shit, right? So you know that this guy is bot farming when you see all of this going on, right? A lot of yes men and hearts, right? This is very much known to be a bot farm, okay? Nobody does this in real life, okay? So yeah, just so we know. Right, like that's the artificial engagement you see on Elon Musk's bullshit. Again, literal pedophile tactic, just so you know. Like, so I'm going to accuse this guy of child molestation right now and be correct. Okay, I'm going to actually do that right now. I'm going to use this channel, right? I'm gonna go file an FBI report on this asshole right now. Report child trafficking. FBI.gov. Yeah. Just joking. FBI report, right? Let's just do FBI report along tip form. I understand. I agree. Child minors, right? And submit a tip, right? Ordinance. Yep, there we go. Someone I know over a year, less than a month ago. Approximate time, I don't know. Yeah, sure. 6. Sure. Whatever, right? One's funny. Okay. Ongoing, online. See here. Deleted words. Yeah, there we go. Yes. All right, there we go. I filed that report clearly. That's how it happens, and not it's playing more steps. That's just a joke, but it's definitely me catching on to him. Where's okay? Anyway.
But apparently not. Once again, his cavalier attitude shows itself here. Like he's
I mean, your cavalier attitude towards kids is also showing itself there.
defending some false pride or something, and it's cavalier to the point where it doesn't feel logical or human. And he's
I mean, it sounds pretty human to me. You must not know what pride is. God damn, dude. Man, it's weird how he expects like humans to not know how humans work. No, they know how humans work. They're writing them. They're writing them from their own experiences in life, which might not be yours, but you're also not Japanese, so I don't know. Maybe you just don't know how people in Japan think. Another thing, right? Did you know that this guy molests kids? You know how I know that? Because he bought farms, and that's a way to know it.
talking with Hunnigan, someone who needs to be continually informed of everything happening.
Well, I mean, why are you molesting kids though? So if you weren't molesting children, this wouldn't happen, right? You wouldn't have to make this bullshit video because you wouldn't be molesting children. And if you're molesting children, you should stop molesting children. Did you know that molesting children is wrong and you should not molest children? You should not be engaging in sexual copulation with a minor, right? And because of that your fascination with fetishizing little kids is bad, and you should feel bad for fetishizing little kids. That's bad. You shouldn't fuck kids, okay? Stop fucking kids. Fucking kids is bad, and you should stop doing it, you child fucking piece of shit. Did you know that fucking kids is bad? You shouldn't fuck kids. Stop fucking kids. Stop raping kids. Stop groping kids. Stop being a pedophile. Stop being an Adobe PDF. Stop shoving your penis into a kid's vagina. Stop molesting kids. Stop sodomizing children. Stop fucking kids. Stop fucking kids. Stop fucking kids. Did you know that your desire to fuck kids is wrong, right? Now that I've said that, right, and got that out of my system. Oh wait, no, you fuck kids. I can't get that out of my system. But now that I've started reminding people that you fuck kids every few minutes because it's funny to me, and I will continue to do that. Right. So you're bad at the game. You fuck children. You bought farm. to fool people into false engagement. You're a child molesting piece of shit. You hate you're everyone and everything. In reality, you don't engage with any humans in real life. You're a fucking pedophile piece of shit. You molest children. The only human interaction you have is when you fuck children. You should stop fucking children, and that's bad. All right. Well, why doesn't she? Hey, tell her, why do you fuck kids? I don't know. Like, why is this a hard concept for you to get? Right? You fuck kids. Leon has a weird sense of pride. You have a weird lust of children. Leon has a weird sense of pride. Okay, like both people can be weird at the same time. I'd say you're weirder because you fuck kids, whereas someone having a sense of pride, an accomplishment in their life is normal. But yeah, what I'm just saying is leave the kids alone, and that you should stop fucking children. Well, I mean, you know what would also impact his mission to save Ashley if he was a child molester like you, right? Did you know that being a child molester is usually considered like a bad thing in Spain, and people will want to murder you? Maybe that's why they want to murder you all over the game, right? You're a child molester, and so the enemies realize that the person controlling Leon fucks kids, so they all want to kill him because they know that will get at you, because that'll like say, like when they say, eat my asshole at you when they throw something at you, right? What that tells you is actually that they want you to eat their asshole instead of a child's, and they're trying to kill you with the axe because you're a child molester, right? It's not saying "vi asshole" because they're like trying to say "over here, idiot." It's actually just saying eat my asshole" because they want you to eat their asshole because they're adults who can consent to analingus. Unlike the kids you fuck with your tongue, right? Did you know that that's bad? Just by the way.
Is he really that dense? And 3 hours is a long.
I mean, are you really that dense to defend your child molestation? I'm just asking, guy.
Time to just say he's fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not molesting children like you are, so he is fine comparatively, at least.
Hunnigan should have asked him to clarify.
Hunnigan should have asked you to stop fucking kids. That's what she should have done. Hunnigan, can you ask this asshole to not fuck children next time he plays this game? Be very, it would be very important, right? For you to know that he's the one playing the game and that he shouldn't fuck kids because he's a child molester.
But she instead.
No, she's not instead. Like, she just doesn't want you to fuck children. That's bad. It's a bad thing. Bad. Stop being bad. And fucking kids. It's bad. Well, yeah, her response is Leon isn't a child molester, so she's not going to treat him as one. She's going to treat his pride and dignity with the respect it deserves, and then she's not going to respect you because you're a child molester, and no one respects that. It sounds like Hunnigan doesn't like child molesters like you, and maybe you should stop molesting kids. Leave the kids alone, guy. Like, how is that hard? Just stop fucking kids, and then Leon will. Then Hunnigan will stop. Telling you not to fuck kids in the game.
Leon for a while to be like, oh, it's Leon. He'll be.
Oh no, she's just saying you shouldn't. You should stop fucking children, and that she's wasting your time purely on the fact that you fuck kids, and that's bad. And you should not be respected because a child molester deserves no respect. Stop fucking kids. If you want to respect, stop fucking kids.
This mission is supposed to be the first.
Oh wow, it took you that long to knife the box because you fuck kids and it made you slow. Did you know that you should stop fucking kids? And also, you can also just break the box mid-call with your foot if you while listening to it, because you tend to want to save time, and that's a good way to save time is kick the box while the cutscene's still playing. Unless or skipping it, right? Those are two different options. You have the option to do both, by the way. You know what you don't have the option to do though? Fuck kids. You shouldn't fuck kids, guy. Like this is what it comes down to. He's mad that the game doesn't allow him to fuck children, and he's mad at that, right? Now, he should play Genshin Impact instead, which is a much bigger game and better game too. But it allows you to fuck kids in that. So maybe you should play Genshin Impact. Everyone else is playing it. It's much bigger. It'll help you grow your channel, and you get to fuck kids. You'll be in paradise. You child fucking piece of shit. Yeah. I'm going ham on him for being a child molester. That's the best part about this. Yeah. I'm just saying he should stop fucking kids. It's like basic, basic human decency, right? Just don't fuck kids. Like you know what I mean? Like, just stop fucking kids. Well, they're introduced to each other as human beings, unlike you, who is a pedophile, who does not deserve any respect because you fuck kids. You should maybe stop fucking kids. It's bad. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking about you fuck children, and that's bad, and you haven't repented for that yet. In fact, from what I heard from your friend at the Resident Evil podcast, you fuck children, and that's why I've never heard of them or you, because it's a child fucking ring called the Resident Evil podcast. It actually just features Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk and you fucking kids on a movie screen, right? And you videotape that and then send it to the FBI, and then Elon Musk drowns the FBI in $400 billion because I don't know, he has enough money to do that. And so you guys fuck kids, film it, and then force people to watch it, and then you're mad that people don't like that you fuck kids, right? Well, I am very mad. You should stop fucking children. Did you know that fucking children is wrong? What's wrong with you? You fuck children. That's what's wrong with you. Stop fucking children. It's bad. It's wrong. It's immoral. You should stop fucking children. There's not a moment where you are not a child molester, and you need to correct that. You should stop molesting children. Get the kids off your dick, you fucking piece of shit. Yeah, well, she introduces herself to Leon because Leon is a person, and she doesn't introduce herself to you because you are a child molester. And see, she's willing to talk to people and not pedophiles, right? So maybe you should fix that. She'll talk to you if you stop being a child molester. That's all. Did they know each other before? Well, they know each other before. You know why? Because they do. This isn't really their first rodeo. Also, did you know that you were a child molester and that's bad? It's bad to be a child molester. I mean, they did in the movies, didn't they? I'm pretty sure Hunnigan meets Leon before the fourth game, really, and the dialogue in the fourth game doesn't make any sense because of that, which is weird because Leon apparently forgot all about her, but she was a character beforehand. Also, you fuck children, which is bad. You should stop fucking children. I have no idea why you fuck children. That's bad. You should stop fucking children. You're a bad person because you fuck children. That's bad. But overall, you should stop fucking children. It's bad to fuck children, right? You're mad at this game because you suck at it, but you fuck children. So I don't feel any sympathy for you or your bot army. Because unlike me, you fuck children. I don't fuck children. That's bad. I recognize that as a basic human with very mild human decency, even a mild sense of it, tells me not to fuck children because good people don't fuck children. Which is something you do because you're not a good person. You're a child molester. And I'm just stating the facts there. Stop fucking kids. It's bad. Child molestation is bad, and you should stop doing it. It's changed to the fact that in the conversation, that you think that because you molest kids that this game is bad. It's a very deep rabbit hole to go through, and I don't want to go through that. So stop talking about your fetish for children, for fuck's sake. Like, leave that conversation alone, just like you should leave the kids alone. It's bad. Stop fucking kids. It makes no sense how you've ranted on and on and on about how much you fuck kids. See, like, your child molestation, right? See, that's why you love this yellow paint. You haven't complained about the yellow paint at all because you like it because it's brain dead like you, and you can fuck kids with an IQ of not caring about yellow paint. Okay? You don't want to complain about the yellow paint because you fuck children. That's all it is. You fuck children, and that's bad. You should stop fucking children. I have to ask you if you know, because now you're staring at that yellow paint and you're not breaking it like a normal person would, because the entire point of the yellow paint is it's an obnoxious color that makes you want to break it because it's annoying and ugly. And so you want to destroy the annoying, ugly thing. And that's like a basic human pattern-seeking pattern of you wanting to destroy the evil yellow thing because it looks ugly. And people who don't molest children do destroy it because they tend to feel that in their soul, and you haven't destroyed it yet. So I question, why do you fuck children? Like, why do you fuck children? That's bad.
Let's look at how it's handled in Resident Evil 4 OG. After Leon kills Delago, he's able to get to the other side of the lake before his infection starts to flare up. He coughs up blood, has blurred vision, has convulsions and spasms, and eventually collapses upon entering a nearby cottage. While he's unconscious, he has a nightmare about being overtaken by the Plaga and having his blood vessels enlarge all over his body. Now, while it is odd that he's having a nightmare about the parasite and its symptoms when he shouldn't be aware of it, I'm not going to criticize it because when he wakes up, he forgets the contents of his nightmare, which is a common phenomenon.
Yeah, you know what else is a common phenomenon? Not fucking children, which is something you do, and that's a very abnormal thing of you. Yeah, various factors, like Leon doesn't fuck children like you do, so that's the various factors. You should stop doing that, guy. Yeah, it's been 6 hours since you last fucked a child. Guy who made this video. You should not do that like ever again, and not just be like, it's been 6 hours, I'm sober, right? Like, no, like stop fucking children at all, entirely, not just like for 6 hours. That's not okay. Anyway, let's continue. Calling this guy a pedophile for the next 3 hours. That's going to be a little whoopee. Leon then tells her that he was feeling like the guy who recorded the video, this video right here, that one, is a pedophile. And it's very weird that a pedophile is talking about him. He doesn't like that. Notice how he has like anger in his eyes, and she's like looking at you in confusion, right? He wants to wring your neck out, and she's confused as to why a pedophile is invading their chat line, right? So like, Leon is I'm surprised he hasn't grabbed his knife yet and tried to fucking stab you with it, right? And Hunnigan is like, man, why is this pedophile invading our line? Like, she's like, look at her. She looks genuinely puzzled and worried that this pedophile right here has invaded her comms line. No. He's saying that because that's the script of the game. But you can tell in his eyes and his lips and his nose that he is mad. He is very much pissed off at you for molesting kids. You should stop molesting kids, because now Leon wants you to kill you. It's bad. He knows it's bad. He knows what's up. Which Hunnigan thinks is related to what Mendez told him earlier. Leon then reassures her that he is okay and that he will continue his mission. At least he will continue to eliminate you because you're a child molester. That's his mission. He took the time to address what happened compared to Leon in Resident Evil 4 Remake. There's more sense with the way this is done. So I don't understand why they changed this in Resident Evil 4. Well, they changed it because they knew that you are a child molester and it would piss you off, and they wanted to piss off you for molesting children. This is your punishment, by the way, for being a child molester. That you will be mildly annoyed at things that nobody else actually gives a shit about, and that millions of people enjoy because it's a good game, and you're just milking this because you're a retard. And a pedophile. You should stop being a pedophile and a retard. You should stop being retarded. You know that God gave you a gift, it's called a brain, and you have refused this gift. You have told God that brains are for losers, and that you aren't a soy boy who uses his brain, so you want to be a Chad, who in your eyes is someone who fucks children and doesn't use his brain. I don't know about you, buddy, but like you should stop fucking kids. Leave the kids alone.
RE4 Remake. With that conversation concluded, this begins chapter 4. So chapter 4 is a chapter I like in terms of its ambiance and music. I like the darkness and the lighting.
Oh wow, we started chapter 4 a little less than an hour in. Okay. So now we go to the Shrek fight, right?
I also like the combat music as it carries that dark undertone with its choice of music, pulsating notes, and key signature.
I like the fact that it's not about pedophilia, like this whole guy's channel. You should stop molesting children. I'm just saying. You know, it's weird that he calls himself an old Capcom fan, but has Ethan Winters as his icon. It's almost as if this is facetious on purpose, right? Let me look this guy's channel. I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna find out that he actually is. So he is very much being a facetious little shitlord. I see. Yeah. No, I'm seeing it. Yeah, he is just being a facetious shitlord. Yep. Very much just he doesn't actually dislike the game. This is purely just to pretend. This is purely a character he's pulling to grift off the game. That's why this is so fake. Yeah, okay. I'm getting that now.
Vibes that carry ignorance. I would have liked this music to be in Resident Evil 4 OG, honestly, but that's all the positives I can give right now.
You know, all the positives I can give, that it doesn't molest children, grift off its audience, and try to use a bot spam to peer pressure people into thinking that anyone actually agrees with you. So that they don't comment their actual thoughts, which, you know, it hasn't worked because I'm doing that myself. Now, people might think I look crazy, but also, crazy. I was crazy once. They put me in a rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy, and that's bad. But you know what else is bad? Pedophiles. And pedophiles suck. And pedophiles suck at video games. This guy sucks at video games. I think he's a pedophile. Do you know that pedophiles suck at video games? That's bad. They should stop doing that. That's crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a rubber room with rats. These rats made me crazy.
Leon moves on and hears chanting occurring from somewhere as he makes his way to
Yeah. He's hearing some chanting, and that chanting is a guy that's about to turn into a player site. Yeah.
One of the ganados spontaneously transforms into a placa type guadaña out of sight while still seeing his shadow. I find this change to be weird. I don't know what purpose
Yeah, you don't see it at first.
it serves to have this transformation occur off camera compared to having it be shown directly in Resident Evil 4 OG. It just
Well, in the Resident Evil 4 OG, it kind of looked like shit. That's why.
feels kind of jarring.
And now here it allows them to have like a bit of a suspense to the transformation. Like what is happening there? Right? Why is this person suddenly beheaded, and why is like they're pulsating blood out, and then you see, and then it's like, oh shit, right? So now this guy is mad that the game is horror. What? Very weird.
Generally take 3 to 5 shots from the pistol to be stunned, and the shotgun.
Actually, I gotta look. What's his opinion on Silent Hill 2 remake? This will probably tell me if he's actually being genuine at all. I'm gonna guess that this is gonna show that he is not genuine at all. And I'm gonna be right. Like, let's see.
We're really doing this? Why do we need to do this? This is an exercise in tedium right now. There's no gameplay here. What the fuck is this?
Oh wow, this is in the original game too, so that's how you know.
This is like that raft section from Outlast 2. In Chapter 3, you spend so much of Chapter 3 inside of that raft with poor controls. It's just an exercise in tedium, doing absolutely nothing. An absolute waste of time with that sequence. Did that really need gameplay? Did that really need gameplay? Are you serious?
Yeah, it needed gameplay because it's to piss you off. Okay.
What the fuck is this game doing?
What? Like, log? Wood? What?
What is it doing? I don't understand. How do you release that? Why is it acceptable? Like, what is James's motivation? What is he doing?
Well, I wonder if I'll get, like, to his motivation.
Every single time I get behind a nurse, he'll either do the heavy attack, which is what I need, that actually floors him to the ground and I can finish him off and it rewards being stealthy, or he'll instead do the combat animations, which is not what I want, but the detection on the enemy's back is atrocious in this game.
Guess he actually knows how to dodge, that's one thing.
Hate it. And I thought those enemies couldn't even get off the ceiling, because I believe in the Wikipedia it says that those enemies are destined to stay on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like they're destined to cling, and if they fall into the abyss. But I guess they've changed that. This game is just...
Okay.
I hate puzzles and survival horror games even more. We're having to put all these puzzles in just to stop us from getting to a seemingly simple solution of just getting on with the game, right? I mean, what voice acting moments have we gone through? Fucking awful. I mean, what is the point of this? Why would James be constructing these puzzles, or Silent Hill constructing these puzzles? Like, what is the reason for this? It's just delaying us from getting to the next threat. This is just so bad for pacing. This is fucking awful. How am I meant to feel anything with how much we've been doing that has just been mindless fluff? How many puzzles have we gone through? How many stupid enemies have we gone through? How many shit voice acting moments have we gone through? Like, how many fake gameplay moments have we gone through?
Oh, so this guy is just being a facetious piece of shit, and then all his bot... Oh, okay, so yeah, I'm starting to get it. These guys are all yes man bots. You can see that because they yes man every single video. This guy is a scam artist. Okay, I'm reporting him, actually. Ah, okay, you are being reported for being a bot spammer by the end of this video. Okay, you will lose your channel. I'm going to actually destroy you by doing that because you're a fucking scam artist. God damn, dude. Could you at least have tried to hide it better by not using the same bots every video? Like, watch this, look. So this guy right here, and then this guy right here will show up on this video, right? So we got where is it? So this guy, right? They do show up. Okay, so one guy that shows up a lot is this guy, right? This guy right here. Responded to him on this video. Yeah, right here, right? That's one. Then there's this guy, shows up a lot. Then there's this guy right here. And you notice that they're all like kind of like within the same day too. That's how you know that this guy is a cunt who is scamming the algorithm, right? By using bot farms. And if I use bot farms, you know, like I would be like making much better content. But yeah, now I know what this guy is doing. He is literally just being a bot farm.
Flinches them in one shot consistently, so long as they're in a normal state and not in a stun animation.
I mean, why are you bad at, like, have you noticed that he hasn't upgraded his guns at all, and he's mad that the guns unupgraded aren't as powerful as the guns are upgraded?
If you're playing this pre-alpha right, you'll generally not be dealing with them much.
I mean, I deal with them a lot, and it's very easy. I just use a single shot of like my blacktail, and then another one usually, and that's done, right? Sometimes they do 2 shots and a kick to kill them, right? They die pretty fast.
Sense for them to not flinch from one shot with the pistol. At least Resident Evil 5 justified the Cephalos not flinching from pistol shots, given their sturdier flesh. This makes no sense at all in this remake. They can also be put into a flinch animation that allows you to use a melee attack against them, but only when close to death. And of course, flash grenades can kill them instantly. Plaga-type Godanias also have a horizontal whip attack that can be crouched
Yeah, alright.
under when close to them, and a vertical slam that they generally do when you're close to them. Parrying their attacks does work, but there is a bug when parrying this enemy where you'll still take damage even when you nail the parry.
Yeah, he's got 400,000%, so he's just not doing anything with the merchant. And he's mad that the no merchant run that he's doing is harder. Like, yeah, it's harder than it used to be, buddy. Like, why are you doing a challenge run at the beginning? And why are you mad that the challenge run is harder in this game?
I'm not entirely sure why this happens.
I was wondering why he had such retarded strategies. Now I understand. He has these retarded ass strategies because he isn't playing the game as like a person who wants to engage with it. On purpose in order to bot farm his channel up for some bullshit. You know, actually, should I report him for pedophilia or the fact that he's clearly you know, he's clearly from the bald cunt school of bot farm to bot farm on YouTube to force fake engagement on the platform. I don't know.
Prevents you from trusting the mechanic. As such, you're better off damage racing them and not giving them the chance to engage with you.
Like another thing you notice, as soon as I start seeing in person as a bot, I stop ever positively engaging with that person, right? So there's a bot on my channel that likes my videos now and responds like something positive. I don't really like that guy, right? It's a bot. Yeah, I don't heart him anymore because he's a fucking bot, right? Like, I don't want the bot. Like, I hate it. I wish that bot would go away. It sucks. It's gay, but like I have it, so I guess like it's just staying on my channel. It gives me likes and some views, so it's and some positive comments, I guess. But like seriously, this bot can just fuck off. I fucking hate this shit. Like I want people, not bots. Like this guy wants bots. I don't know why, but I want people to engage with me. I'm not a fucking loser like this piece of shit. I like people engaging with my content. That's why I stream on Twitch, because now they have like my girlfriend in a friend group that like we stream regularly with, and like yeah, it's fun.
Also have this tendency of sprinting into you, and this can actually stun you, which is stupid. Yet another example.
Yeah, yet another example of you aren't even fucking playing the game, and you're mad that the enemy can do stuff to you that most people will never experience because they're too busy playing the game to notice. Yeah, maybe like Capcom is assuming you will play the game at all times incorrectly, and you know, like assuming incorrectly that you will play the game at all times, and that's like on them, I guess. I don't know. Why is it Capcom's fault that they assume you would play the game? Like imagine if anyone else like assumed that someone would be brain dead and retarded when playing the game. Could you imagine if like Nintendo designed the Iron Knuckles in Ocarina of Time under the basis that the player was an absolute fucking retard, or that like they used like the glitches that you know broke the game or whatever, right? Only. Like, could you imagine if you had to do like the bomb rush glitch to kill one, or on the reverse side, like they were so easy because they assumed that the player would not even move or try to dodge attacks or anything, right? Like imagine a game being so poorly programmed that guys like this are catered to. Right, the lowest intelligence denominator is like apparently what we're like dealing with here. where is your gun? Where is your gun? Why aren't you shooting him? You got 114 bullets, and you haven't used one yet. Notice how, like, here, he's playing the game? Well, now he's not.
Randomly affect you when you're close to them. In Resident Evil 4 OG, the Plagas could damage you by doing this, but in the remake, all it does is stun you, not damage you. But you want to get past these enemies by pressing the confirm button when the little vignette showing the Plaga type Godanya coming around the corner begins to play. This will then allow you to control Leon earlier while it's still doing the animation, allowing you to get past both of the enemies here.
I mean, yeah, but you know what also you can do is play the game, right? Like, have you noticed that, like, he's, like, talking about, like, these strategies for people who don't play the game? It's very weird, right? Like... And also, he hasn't come up with any of these strategies. These are all, like, ones he stole from other people. So yeah, he's refusing to engage with the game's core features. Like the merchant, right? Like, he hasn't engaged with the merchant fucking once. The best character in every Resident Evil 4 fan's, like, entire repertoire. He's constantly referencing channels that I have no idea fucking exist as a source of anything, right? Like, literal nobodies are apparently a source of information on a game that, like, has massive channels that are very much larger in lore discoveries, right? Like, is it like where's the lore videos from the Kendo Gun Shop? But no, we're talking about the Resident Evil podcast. Okay, let me look that up. I gotta see who the fuck he's talking about. The Resident Evil podcast. Right? Who's he talking about? This guy? Like, is he talking about this guy? Like, Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast? Oh, this guy. Okay, the Resident Evil podcast, 1.5 subs. So it's a small channel. That just does a little podcast video. What? He hasn't even finished the game yet. So a guy who hasn't even finished the game in over a year is still doing chapter 11 and 12 a year fucking later is your source? A guy who can't even finish the fucking game is your source of information. A guy who also clearly isn't, like, a fan of the series either, from the looks of it. What? How the fuck is this guy your source? The fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's a small YouTube channel that I've never heard of, right? Look at this, right? Like, let me look up the Kendo Gun Shop. Right? Like, let's look at the Kendo Gun Shop, right? This is like who I would look at for lore videos, right? So 89 times the size of the over 80 times the size of the other fucking guy, right? And just, like, weapon videos, right? And that's like all it is. But, like, every single video is far better than that fucking Resident Evil podcast. Let's do Residents of Evil. Right, let's do Residents of Evil, right? Yeah, far bigger. 470. Right, let's do Bakwa Soup. Right, is this guy, yeah, a far bigger. Trance. Yeah, okay. You know what? Alright, like, yeah, and then we have, of course, Dante Ravioli, right? Dante Ravioli, right? Almost 1 million with this one. So we're referencing non-fans of the series who use a title to make shitty videos that hasn't even fucking beaten half the games they play, and started at Resident Evil like 8 era Resident Evil. That's what you're talking about? That's not a fucking Resident Evil fan. Holy shit, this guy's a fucking scumbag.
Imagining the bolt mechanic from Resident Evil 4 OG. A shame it has nothing to do with the overall integrity of the gameplay though. So while it's a cool idea, it means so little in the end.
Okay, man, I'm going to have to ask someone, a big streamer, to cover this stuff as I'm going on, because goddamn, dude, this guy is being a massive clown now.
One of the mandatory areas we need to go to has a whole bunch of ganados patrolling here. Much like the fish farm encounter, this is a time-consuming process trying to deal with them in very soulless combat. A vast majority of the enemies turn into Plagatep Guadagnas, so you can imagine how much that drags the sequence out. The enemies are also laid out in such a way where the developers clearly want you to...
Like, I didn't know, like, I assumed it was a literal nobody, but I didn't assume it was a guy who couldn't even beat the fucking game. Or any, or like any of the games besides RE8, it looked like. Like, how are you a streaming podcast and you can't fucking beat a game? Like, in years, even.
But they are quick to get away, it takes too long to do, and they don't drop loot when killed, which is odd considering when you use the cannon to kill the zealots in the castle area, they drop loot, so I don't understand the distinctions there.
Oh, the distinction is that the boat counts as its own little, like, sub-map, and enemies killed from a different sub-map location don't count for loot. But I would guess.
Second mandatory area doesn't have any enemies, but near that mandatory area is another important...
Oh, it does if you use the Berserker mod, which is the best way to play this. 2 chainsaw women, actually.
In this chicken coop, there is a golden egg. This pre-alpha has a hidden mechanic where if you use 2 golden eggs on Salazar, you can kill him in under 10 seconds. While this may seem like an idea worth praising, it's not, and I'll explain later.
No, like, it's literally just a thing you can do, but yeah. Have you noticed that he hasn't referred to the fact that you can use, like, the egg as a mechanic for the merchant request, too?
You just have the optional areas. There is an optional area in the middle of the lake which gives you some treasure and the red 9 pistol.
So he's just doing a single, no merchant run. That's it. That's all, like, his entire bit of content is just doing a no merchant run on hardcore. And that's it.
It's a pretty worthless pistol, honestly. You're far better off just selling it. And it's funny how they chose to put this weapon within the world and not make it a merchant exclusive weapon.
It's actually not useless at all. I prefer the Blacktail, like, massively over the red 9, but, like, compared to the starting pistol, it's very good.
They didn't do the same with a weapon like the sniper rifle. Why would they just give another pistol here? That doesn't make sense. They should be placing weapons of each category within the actual world and putting in other weapons of the same categories in the merchant. That makes more sense than what...
But they have been, right? So you have a shotgun, and then you have a pistol, right, in the first area, right? And in the second area, you can get an assault rifle, right? And great, I don't think so. Yeah, it's just that, right? You get the CQBR, right? Anything before that? Yeah, no, it's the CQBR, right? And then in the like lab area, you get a submachine gun for the Lev 5, and you can also get a the survival knife from Krauser. So you get a shotgun, another pistol, a assault rifle, which is of course a rifle basically, right? And you also get a submachine gun. The only weapon type you don't get is a magnum. Now with the Berserker mod, you get a bunch of basically everything, but it's only with the Berserker mod that you get magnums, right?
Done here. The next If you go back into the house where Luis was held, you'll find an old man's journal. The old man happens to be Luis's grandfather.
Notice how he says the old man's journal and ignores the treasure item for like the best character in the game. Like he's just ignoring all the money and merchant stuff.
But regardless, this is a very confusing file.
Yeah, like you can see that he sees the ring on the right too. Oh, he gets the ring, so he just doesn't acknowledge that there's a ring that he got.
Showcase. From the perspective of someone reading this file for the first time, this file was written when Luis was 3 years old and his mother died when he was born. Luis is 28 years old in this pre-alpha, meaning he was born in 1976. So this file seems to be written in 1979. Luis's grandfather
Alright, so yeah.
described him as being precocious, a very curious, smart, and observant child with a thirst for knowledge who follows his grandfather around whenever
Right, yeah, okay.
he goes hunting, not unlike the original version of Luis. In fact, in the original version, all the times he went hunting with his grandfather allowed him to understand the terrain.
Yeah, in fact, that's actually a thing that a lot of people have used for the merchants, like, reason why the merchant can travel so much. Yeah.
And find secret passages, as acknowledged by Torres Mendez. This is not mentioned in the remake, but I guess it's meant to be implied. Luis's grandfather.
I mean, the merchant. I'm pretty sure the merchant talks about like something like that, right? But yeah.
Then mentions that if Luis wasn't stuck in this village, he could have been a scholar. Then, on the next page, he mentions that he was a careless fool. He thought he had shot through this wolf's head, yet it.
You know, I should play the Berserker mod with like my furry mod thing installed too, just to flex on this piece of shit. Like that he can barely like make it through like the original game on hardcore, if it's even that. And then I'd flex on him with Leon Must Die, Berserker mod, and then Valkyrie mod, right? You know, doing a no merchant run on that, that is gonna be crazy.
He was able to make it back to the cabin, but his wound is swollen and discolored, and he's worried about Luis. This seems to imply that he encountered a Colmillo, because why else would he say, I thought I shot it in the head? But this would then imply that the Illuminados were around during this time, as the Colmillos were created by them. He then mentions that
Yeah. The cult is about that old, yeah. About like, wasn't Oswald like from the 50s, like Spencer? So it would be about so yeah, Oswald, Spencer, and Mother Miranda are like collaborated around the 50s, right? This would be after that, but not much after that, like 20 years after that. So the cult and stuff would be early.
voices inside his head and thinks he's going mad, which shows that apparently in this remake he was infected by the plaga if you note the word choices. The idea of dying and leaving a 3-year-old Luis behind scares him, and he.
Well, yeah, I mean, why would it not scare him? He's an old man dying with a 3-year-old kid, like who has to take care of himself now. Like why wouldn't you be scared? He's your fucking like he's your fucking like you know, like grandson, right?
Praise to God one last time, ending this file. Do you have any idea how confusing this file is?
It's not confusing at all. He's an old man who's afraid of dying because his son will have to fend for himself because he doesn't even have a mother either. Yeah, it's very scary for a father who's about to die, or a grandfather, I should say, who's about to die.
Entire file makes it seem like Luis and his grandfather were likely around when Sadler took control and began injecting villagers with the plaga. And it seems like Luis's grandfather was injected, as there's no way the Colmillos somehow transfer the plaga through its bite. But why?
Well, yeah, I mean, Luis is infected. He even talks about how like he got the parasite out early. So yeah, sounds about right.
Wasn't Luis himself injected with the plaga or sacrificed as part of Illuminados 4-3? If this remake is going to make it where plaga infection of.
Well, that's because Luis was escaping and hiding and stuff. Yeah.
Children or babies is not fatal, and also make it where the first El Gigante had its plaga bonded to it at birth, then you'd have to assume Luis should have been a victim, but apparently not. And if Luis.
Well, why are you assuming that, right? because from what I'm seeing is he wasn't necessarily caught, which would be a requirement for that thing to happen, is for him to be caught.
Luis was as curious, smart, and observant as he was at age 3. Shouldn't he have realized that maybe these injections that people have been getting are likely leading to issues physically or mentally? Next point. When Luis's grandfather said that he was stuck here, was he referring to them being poor, or was he referring to the Illuminados? Because if the Illuminados were around, then they would not have let him leave, right? So how...
Well, that's not what they're referring to. They're referring to the fact that, they're referring to the fact that they can't leave, yes. Partially because of the Los Illuminados, and partially because of maybe financial concerns and all that too, yeah.
How did Luis end up leaving the village and going to university to become a researcher for Umbrella? Who got him out of...
Well, let's see, who was in the area, right? Considering that Los Illuminados has direct connections to Umbrella, perhaps an Umbrella guy got him, right? Like, I mean, why else would he be going to college specifically under Umbrella's guise anyway, right? Like, if it had nothing to do with Umbrella, then why is Umbrella, like involved in all points of his life from then on, right? Like, that implies like a sort of like Rexplode kind of thing, where like his entire childhood to adulthood is in government care, right? I haven't ever watched Invincible, but that's actually a thing about him, right? Like, his entire life outside of like early birth is being an experiment from the government. And so given like Luis's circumstances, it was probably fairly similar.
the village if he had no other relatives? How could he so casually become a ladies' man, a university student, or a researcher after seeing what the Illuminados were doing and likely seeing what happened to...
Well, most likely to avoid the trauma of what happened, maybe. And also, of course, he becomes an Umbrella agent in this game as well, so it's likely Umbrella got him out of there and tried to hide what they were doing in there, because they were most likely involved in the cult as well. And then it ended up going a little belly up. He had to come back to the area. And that's when, he starts seeing all the bullshit that's happening. He gets pissed off at it. He gets infected because of that. Because he works for the organization. They let him live with just the infection. And then, because he's a researcher, he's able to cut it out because he has the machine that... He had already had the machine that did it. And so, he cuts out the parasite, and then, like, shortly after, he starts talking to Ada and Wesker, and then that's when he gets kidnapped in the game, and that's when, like, the game kind of starts. Yeah.
His grandfather. You don't dismiss those kinds of serious and potentially traumatic events.
You do. That's how trauma works. Wait, man, does this guy not know how trauma works? I mean, I've discussed that he doesn't. But apparently he doesn't. He thinks that trauma, like, is always there and not always looms, right? Like, trauma is, it looms over you. It's not always, like, directly, like, crushing you, right? Like, it always looms in the background of your mind, but it doesn't necessarily surface all the time.
Next point. Why did Luis go back to the village and join the Illuminados if they were doing the kinds of devious acts that they were doing that led to the deaths of his grandfather?
It's because, unlike you, he, first off, again, most likely forced by Umbrella's hand, right? Especially considering he has experience in the area. Second, a large amount of this was done by Umbrella in the first place, so since they're the ones that got him out of there and put him in the scientist program in the first place, it makes sense that they would send him back. You know?
And what sort of feeling of responsibility is he maintaining when he's talking about making amends or feeling good about himself? All this confusion because of...
Well, because he has a lab that he's been using to try to prevent further infection. He's trying to slow down and like, maybe it's, maybe another thing that could be happening, maybe he went back to this area to learn how to cure his own people. you know, he was apparently very observant. Maybe he remembers that. So he put up a facade to make it seem like he didn't remember. And then once he came back, he immediately started to try to find a cure for the entire village because, you know, he was a bit of a Don Quixote fan. And Don Quixote would do something like that in this kind of situation. Obviously, Don Quixote never had a situation like this, but if it did occur, this would be like about how he would, you know, about the way he would interact with it, you know?
How badly written this file is. I've asked two members of the Resident Evil podcast team.
The two members. I'm gonna guess that there's only two. Let me make sure. Like let me like check. So the Resident podcast, right? So this guy, right? How many members are there of this? About. If I can like see their like stuff here. About right. So let's see who's here. So 6 people, right? All of which I've never heard of, right? Who just have kind of like, let me see, like this is probably like a scam too. Let me look at this. Fuck you, Twitter, making me sound. Let's see. Okay, very few followers. Very few followers. Okay, so it's this about 100 followers. Yeah, I can kind of just see that. Yeah, 100 followers each ish. So a very small channel and a very small like Twitter community, and that's apparently like a mainstream source of this guy. So you know what this is? This is a you know what this is? I know exactly what this is, right? This is a bunch of contrarians conspiring together to form a counter narrative against people who like games to try to invade the culture in space. This is literally like a situation where we just have to gatekeep these gatekeepers and not let them not let them pretend to have an authority on the community ever, because they don't. Like this is like a bunch of losers that no one actually fucking likes that are bot farming in order to like kind of constantly like sourcing each other to fake engagement in big and like largeness to eventually try to make it happen using a fake it till you make it a scam. Notice how he says one member. There's 6 members and none of them are big, so you could just mention the member themselves. Right, like it's 6 guys who aren't even fans of the series. This is pretty easy to figure out.
Experiments began. He points out that the journal simply refers to the wolf as a wolf, even though the phrase "I could have sworn I shot clean through the wolf's head" is used, which makes it seem like this was a colmillo. It was probably not a colmillo, because if it was, this would be an issue on New Capcom's part. Otherwise, this was probably a regular wolf. In fact,
well, why does it have to be why would the Camillo be an issue? You've got to say that.
Affected by rabies or a naturally occurring colmillo that found the plaga in the wild. Neither of these explanations are a great fit, but neither can the idea that plaga experiments were going on back then. The second member of the
Why
podcast team raised the question of what exactly Luis's grandfather was afflicted.
I'm pretty sure the experiments were going on back then. Because if the cult was there, then so would the infection.
Going off the descriptions in this file and on other files, the symptoms do seem to match that of the plaga or the black liquid that is shown in chapter 7, which I'll talk about when it shows up.
Right, okay. I'm kind of wondering like what we're going at here, to be honest.
That the photograph you find in this house, which is in fact Luis's house, based on Village Records Volume 1, is also in the attic of Mendez's manor. That same photo is dated in 1981, so even though the old man's journal seems to be written in 1979, it's not for the full journal. The later pages transition into different years without telling the player, so the part where Luis's grandfather states that he was a careless fool is not taking place in the same year.
Yeah, like, I mean, the fact that this is just an unintelligent retard's bot farm is kind of funny. Like, this is a very weird hill to bot farm on. right? Like at least like you know what it is. This is like the anti-woke rift and all that, but this is specifically to hate on Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 4 over Resident Evil 8. This is the weirdest fucking like grift ever, right? Like we are specifically hating propping down Resident Evil 4 remake to prop up Resident Evil Village. And we are doing this group bot spam bullshit and doing the same crybully intimidation tactics of the anti-woke grift and like the Kotaku cuck grift and all that. So like the anti-wokes and the Kotaku guys, like they both do the same shit, right? And they're why?
As the previous page. If this is the case, New Capcom are idiots for failing to recognize that they didn't log the date for each of the pages in this journal. But continuing on, he then mentions the main problem here is that the photo is dated 1981, 12 years before the Illuminados infected the village area, and 3 years before Salazar was born. This means that we can definitely say that the Plaga seal is still intact, and that all the parasites are still beneath the castle at...
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
Particular point in 1981. Salazar's illness is how the Illuminados bartered their way into the castle, which didn't take place until the early 1990s. Salazar's illness is probably an indication that something could have infected the entire region that was not related to the Plaga. Therefore, he believes that Luis's grandfather being injured by a wolf had nothing to do with the Plaga, and maybe the wounds getting infected is what led to his hallucinations, even if coincidentally, it mirrored the typical Plaga infection, and the same...
So as I had to do all of that, just to say, why did this guy see things when he died? Which is another thing, like that's a common theme with people dying too. Not just even the Plaga infection, just people dying in the last moments tend to see shit.
Word choices people use to describe the voices. And referencing Village Records Volume 1, which you find in Mendez's Manor, it mentions that when Luis's grandfather died, their cabin had to be burned down. Luis had looked on without saying a word. Following this, Luis then fled the village the next day because he was upset and frightened. It had nothing to do with the cult, and it was only after he left that the other villagers got infected by the Plagas, so Luis wasn't aware of their existence. The Illuminados probably had nothing to do with his grandfather's death, since by the time Luis left the village sometime during or after 1981, he had been gone for about 12 years before they infected the village.
Alright, sure. So?
He also voiced that on the other hand, if the wolf that attacked Luis's grandfather was indeed a Cormillo, then it would beg the question of why the cult would need to approach Salazar and undo the seal if the Plagas were already around in the wild. And this
So he's dunking on this based on the fact that the note like hints at things that happen with the enemies in the Plaga, but it's like doing it in a mysterious way where it probably didn't happen to him, but like it mirrors those symptoms, right? Almost as if there's more at play than even the people know. Involved in the cult, which would imply that there's outside forces, not just the cult itself, that are involved in this, and those outside forces have been involved beforehand. Almost as if this is a big conspiracy, it's a Resident Evil. I don't know why I have to constantly describe the literal plot of Resident Evil games to this fucking loser.
Member doesn't buy the idea that there were a few random wild Plagas running around out there, because the Plagas had been sealed for centuries and were all mummified and active only via their spores at this point. So pretty much, both members came to the same conclusion.
Well, spores, would still work. I mean, at least for the hallucination things, really, like, legitimately. Like, a spore is like an egg kind of thing. So how would they only interact with spores if spores are how they reproduce? The fuck?
An oversight from New Capcom, but one that could be hand-waved away to maintain other established states. I also pointed out to the second member that there may be some credence to what he's saying, as as if you compare the old man's journal with the foreman's log you get in chapter 11, you'll notice that the foreman had his speech and grammar failing as his plaga infection was flaring up. He also started hearing a voice as well. Luis's grandfather's speech didn't slur or anything when he was hearing a voice, so that may support what the second member was saying about Luis's grandfather's infection not.
I was out there like having a big podcast over something that's pretty obvious, and remember these guys have not even fucking beaten the game yet. Look, these guys are not like done the game yet. Let me see if I see these guys, like this guy's audience again. No, I don't see him there. If I go here, right? Let's go all the way like back here. I don't see his audience. Okay, so maybe they're not even in on it. They're just like people playing the game, and then this guy is like doing this crazy shit about like their thing. But like they don't even know who the fuck he is either. Keeps referencing them, a small channel that is like slightly smaller than his, and they might not even know who the fuck this guy is. Remember, he keeps saying one member. The members are pretty easy to name. It's the Batman, Stars, Tyrant, Neptune, Romby, George Trevor, and Mr. Spencer, which are obviously like, say for the Batman, kind of Resident Evil adjacent. I don't know why the Batman is particularly mentioned here. Let's see, even if he's the biggest one. He's actually kind of small too, compared. Like I saw one that we like a little about 100 higher.
That does beg the question of how Leon's speech wasn't affected when he was nearing the cusp of his plaga infection after nearly 24 hours. In fact, I pointed out that the foreman took at least a week before his psychological symptoms flared up, yet Leon was already seeing hallucinations within the same day. The second member pointed out that because the foreman was infected by the...
Well, I mean, yeah, the foreman likely got infected before the whole shit, like remember, like this thing gets worse as it progresses, right? Because their research gets more correct, I guess, right? So likely Leon had a faster version of the parasite infection than others, right? Because the egg hatched that night, even, right?
The plaga spores compared to Leon being injected with the plaga egg, the infection times were different. Being infected by the spores means that the plaga takes even longer to form and mature compared to being infected by the egg.
Like you're spending on this spiel to say that it's not actually that any inconsistencies with the lore.
Which makes sense in that regard, but having analyzed this greatly, the same conclusion still stands. New Capcom were completely clueless when designing the lore for this
Like so basically he had to go into a deep dive autistically about how amazing the thing is, and then try to backpedal it and say he hated it. This is kind of hilarious how like he's like, oh, did you guys hear how like this amazing like thing about Resident Evil 4 Remake is like really cool, and like it's very deep and very genuine. It's like amazing. It's like the best. It's like orgasmic at figuring this shit out. It's like so cool. I hate it. Like, man, this guy is. Oh man, I know what this is now. It's a different thing that I was assuming. It's not even a grip. It's literally. Ooh, this is actually cool. I actually do like the idea of doing this. Fake hating something for views due to the way the YouTube algorithm is very shitty and promotes hatred over anything else. But then clearly actually liking the thing, like, and you can even like tell, like it's very obvious now that he is doing this for to lulz. Okay, I tip my hat off to you for admitting that, like, even if it's not truly admitting it. But yeah, there we go.
The lack of information and the oversights on their part are so blatantly noticeable. How do you mess up such a story constructed over years of development? It's really feeling like the story was haphazardly constructed over only a few hours. Let me remind you that the story of Resident Evil 4 OG was constructed over 3 weeks, as pointed out by Shinji Mikami, yet it feels better designed and more cohesive than whatever the hell they've done with the story, writing, and screenplay of Resident Evil 4 Remake. I can't believe there are people who think the story is somehow improved in Resident Evil 4 Remake. When leaving Luis's house, we
Well, because people like it more. That's how it works.
can use the insignia key to gain access to the area where that hiker at the start was sacrificed, and also find
Yeah.
dead body tied up. It makes you wonder why those zealots chose to do their sacrifice here when the villagers could have done it themselves. When you do go to this area and climb the ladder, it scripts a spawn of colmillos when you leave the room. These colmillos are a real pain to run past. Even the stuns provided by the flash grenades aren't enough, given that they spread out so much due to their weird pathfinding. You may need to climb the ladder and shoot them to get them out of the way, which can take a while.
Also, how you get a key too.
But that's the end of this optional area. You can also go back to the fish farm area from chapter 3. There are no enemies around, so getting the loot is simple. There isn't much of a need for the loot in this area though, which is why I don't waste time with it. That's all of the areas that you can go to around this lake in chapter 4. Leon retrieves the round insignia and gives Hunnigan an update. With how little Leon has tried to update Hunnigan, I'm surprised he would do it here. He then makes his way to where the El Gigante is, and the doors close on him. I really need to make a comparison here. In Resident Evil 4 OG, the villagers attempt to stop Leon with the El Gigante. They have it tied up and are trying to pull it outside while struggling to hold on to the ropes. This showcases the uncontrollable nature to the El Gigante and how it is simply a byproduct of Plaga experimentation and genetic manipulation. It also helps establish the tension. Back in chapter 1-3, we had heard the El Gigante being passive. Now, as the player, we are worried about what's coming. Having lost their grip on the ropes, the villagers can only watch as the El Gigante breaks down the door and gets through. It begins to slaughter the villagers, which sells its deadly nature further and contributes to the tension again. When the El Gigante focuses on Leon, he dodges the punch by cartwheeling backwards. I can definitely understand why this would make the El Gigante angrier. This then cues this legendary encounter. Old Capcom really delivered with this fight. This guy
Yeah, like this whole thing about old Capcom and stuff is also full of shit. Like, yeah, like I could understand if it was old Capcom with this, but he starts old Capcom up till Resident Evil 8 and also 7. Which is very much like kind of shows that he doesn't actually think it's old Capcom, because why would he have 7 included in old Capcom? Right, like if it was all the RE Engine games or everything made after 4 or something like that, that's one thing. But he's doing it, you know, 5. He's including 5, 6, and 7. Like and 7. You gotta remember, he's also including an and 7 there.
has the perfect amount of life. The size of the room gels well with the El Gigante's range and capabilities. He has a variety of attacks, and he can use the environment against you by using trees and boulders. In a game where every weapon has a purpose, this fight manages to reward skillful use of the knife to save up on precious ammo for the deadly encounters coming up, and it allows the knife to stand.
Like, not really. I mean, you can use the knife, but you're not really ever rewarded.
Greater than how it would be in a Resident Evil title where knife only is the only way to go for its entirety. The El Gigante's slow, deliberate attacks with a good amount of recovery at the
Knife only is the only good way to go for its entirety. Resident Evil 1 Remake, a game where the knife is pretty useless. You can do it, but it's a challenge run thing. This is what it is. He's doing challenge runs and enjoying them, then pretending not to for views. Okay, well, alright.
combat, and it doesn't look odd or feel weird using the knife against this guy. You can knife him when he attacks, and when he goes to pick up a tree or boulder. You can make him pick up the trees or the boulders by standing.
Yeah, so you can kind of you can force certain animation replays and stuff. Yeah.
In specific spots, which adds more strategy and engagement to this legendary encounter.
That's not really strategy, you're just fucking with them.
Like him doesn't know any better. And it's honestly quite an interesting feeling when you're standing behind a tree and he just rips it out, as you feel like a mouse being ripped out of its mouse hole. I like that the fight captures that feeling greatly. Once he does a certain amount of attacks or enough time has passed, the dog comes in to help you. The dog can distract him for a bit, allowing you to knife him. And like I said before, you do not clip on the dog. Once enough damage has been dealt to the El Gigante, his large parasite will be exposed, allowing you to do a QTE knife slash against him. That allows you to do high damage if you're mashing the button fast enough. If you end up slashing at the max speed, it'll only take one more knife QTE sequence to finish it off, instead of 2 more QTE sequences. sequences. Now, I will say, the speed at which you need to mash this button to get the highest possible damage is way too fast, to the point where you have to use both of your index fingers to hit the button fast enough. That's definitely problematic, but I don't think it detracts from this specific
I don't.
fight.
But alright.
They're able to make an interesting animation have a lot of value and feel meaningful due to its high damage is common sense. I earned that animation. Let me have good damage. This entire fight has a push and pull motion to it that makes it feel elegant with the way it flows and with the way it rewards skillful use of the knife. The hitboxes on the El Gigante's attacks are also better than how they are in Resident Evil 4 Remake. You're not relying upon looping one.
Like this is kind of funny. Like he's mad that he can't knife everyone. This is a guy who doesn't like the game, anything. He doesn't see anything wrong with the games at all. He just wants to do the knife, and like he's mad that he can't do the knife. Except that's not even what it is. This is really just a facetious shit post. That's why he's always constantly calling it Resident Evil Remake and not taking it himself seriously as well.
Legendary for all the right reasons. A clear demonstration of respect from the developers. A shame the same can't be said about Resident Evil 4 Remake's El Gigante. Before you trigger the cutscene that starts this boss fight, you can go into the house on the left and get the supplies. Once you do trigger the cutscene, the setup for this encounter showcases how basic and lacking in substance it is. A red zealot comes out of nowhere and performs some fantasy garbage that stirs the El Gigante from its sleep.
And it says Glorious Las Plagas, which they say later as well.
It then breaks through the door and now we fight the El Gigante. The only kind of environmental interaction afforded to the El Gigante is throwing houses, which only happens after its parasite is exposed the first time and damaged enough, or if you are in one of the houses when the El Gigante is coming for you. They removed any kind of creative elements with the environment for this fight, though given the quality of the attacks and how small the arena is, these probably made the developers reconsider putting environmental designs in this encounter. So the El Gigante works differently in Resident Evil 4 Remake. He has two different attack protocols in place. There's the passive state where his parasite isn't exposed, where he does slow, close range, and long range attacks primarily. And then there's the aggressive state where his parasite is exposed, granting him access to faster and more annoying attacks. You generally don't encounter the passive state much, given that it only takes 4 shotgun shells to put him into the aggressive.
Oh yeah, this is his no damage, no merchant run, right?
For the passive state frontal attacks, the side of his body that he uses for his close range attacks depends.
And he's mad because he can't do that if
You have the standard kick, the standard stomp, and
you know he gets hit. So that's why he's like complaining about getting hit so much, and why he's so much like concerned about ammo, whereas a normal player wouldn't be, because he's specifically doing this bullshit. Oh, I guess I can understand why, but yeah.
Animations when he's trying to run backwards. Baiting out these moves requires you to stand pretty close to this guy's legs, so I'm pretty sure you can understand why this makes Leon's sluggish movement more annoying. For the passive long-range attacks where he walks forward then does an attack, you just have to pay attention to whichever arm is leaned further back whenever the El Gigante is in the startup frames of these attacks, then run around them accordingly. There's also this other long-range attack where he does a swipe attack. That move has phantom range, so he can hit you without touching you. I have found that you can crouch under this attack when he does it, but I don't know if this bypasses the phantom range. Whenever you're at the El Gigante's side, he generally prefers to do a swipe attack as a substitute to a turning animation. That's all the attacks in the passive state, but like I said, you'll generally not be dealing with these attacks given that his slow walking animation gives you time to pump 4 shotgun shells into him in order to cue the aggressive phase. For the aggressive close range frontal attacks, he can do the same passive kick but faster. You won't encounter this move much. He can also do a slam that requires you to either run between his legs then move in relation to him to avoid his follow-up attack, or just run away from the slam. This move also has phantom range slightly in front and to the sides. He can also do a punch with his left arm that requires you to run towards him and crouch. And finally, his most bullcrap attack, his grab that he does with his right arm.
Now, like, this guy is basically treating this as if it's a Souls-like, and you actually need to know any of this information. You don't. Like, this is, like, goddamn, dude. Like, you like, first off, this is clear evidence right here that he doesn't hate the game. No one who hates a game would do a challenge run where they basically have to study every little movement of the enemies. Which, like, this is the thing. This a run like this takes months to kind of figure out. He does. You can't hate a game and do that, right? Like, it's not possible. This is why he has to constantly use the term remilk and stuff, and also even gets a little too autistically excited and starts spurging out positivity a lot by accident because he doesn't hate the game. I get the like motive behind this now. All right, I might change the title then, because I'm starting to see what the actual like thing is. This guy is a massive spurg, like a massive like pro RE4 Remake spurg that has to pretend to not like it for whatever reason.
And does that move out of the blue. It is completely random if he catches you or not, even if you try to get between his legs and crouch. He pushes you around in such a way that you can end up clipping on his legs and being caught. He might as well not do his other moves. He can just do this move and get a cheap advantage over you every time. You can't even run away from that move. Leon isn't fast enough to outrun the El Gigante when it's walking, so it can literally walk towards you as you're running away and grab you with that move. Let's see how balanced this so-called fight is when he does nothing but that move. For his aggressive close-range attacks when you're behind him, he can do a grab, a stomp, or a backhand, which are dependent upon the side of his back you're standing near. For the aggressive long-range attacks, he is able to do the same running attack from Resident Evil 4 OG that requires you to run to the side. He has a jump attack that requires you to do a QTE. He has a faster version of the passive walking single arm slam, where you have to run to the right or between his legs. He has a walking repeated grab move that requires you to keep your distance or run under his legs at the right moment after his second or third grab.
Like imagine if like because basically what this is doing is making it so, like he's basically having to treat this as if he's fucking playing Black Myth Wukong or Elden Ring, but like no one else has to, and he's acting like he has to do that, like, which he doesn't. But he's doing this purely for fakeness. This is actually very kind of funny. Like I see the facetiousness now. Like this is trolling all the Resident Evil 4 Remake haters. Oh, okay. He's trolling the Resident Evil 4 Remake hate squad that Synthetic Man did, by basically pretending to be a Resident Evil 4 Remake hater, but then showing it all the love it actually deserves, but pretending to hate it as a way to force engagement with them, using a bot farm to pretend that he actually does dislike the game, and then actually it makes it pretty obvious. I mean, it's not even been 3 hours in that he actually genuinely loves the game. Damn.
You have to bear that in mind. There can be times where it looks like you're past this move, but he can grab you without touching you, and it just seems odd that this would be the intended methodology for getting past this grab move. He then has this very sudden 3-hit slam combo that requires you to back away from the first slam or move to the side, then run around the other slams. His final long-range attack is a very bullcrap 5-hit combo that he does as a substitute to a close-range attack. The only time you'll ever be able to get past this move is if you happen to get between his legs when he starts the attack. Otherwise, you're forced to run backwards. This attack is prolonged just enough that he can take advantage of the tiny arena to push you into walls. The problem with the aggressive phase is that he doesn't make it clear if he's favoring a long-range attack or a close-range attack. You can get those moments where even at max distance, he can favor the close-range attack. When he chooses to do certain attacks is also unclear, so as he's coming towards you, you move towards him, thinking he's going to do one move, and then he does another move that doesn't make sense in the moment. And Leon's sluggish movement prevents you from getting away from many of the attacks. And while I have been able to avoid his moves normally, this still doesn't excuse the bad hitboxes, the ambiguity on when he chooses to do either a close range or long range attack.
And the bad hitboxes, the fist collides with his back spine and he hits him.
And the tiny arena. The RNG is just enough that it can often force you to loop his back attacks.
I mean, yeah, the tiny arena, the one that, like the guy that doesn't take that many hits to shoot.
Eventually, in his aggressive phase, he collapses from exhaustion, allowing you to knife his weak spot or shoot it. It literally turns into Resident Evil 1 Remake boss design, where you're having to loop one attack so much. The only other alternative is to damage.
Having to loop one, you don't have to do that.
One thing to note about this El Gigante,
right, like this is how you know like he's being a retard on purpose for comedic value. Like if he was actually genuinely disliking this game, right, he wouldn't be talking about it as if you have to do this because anyone would actually play like this. He is purposely playing like a massive challenge run over the game, because if he Because which is something that you can only do if you're a big fan of the game, right? You can't do challenge runs like that and not enjoy the game, right? That's just not how challenge runs work. So like he's even like basically like entirely proven everything about his arguments wrong by doing this, which, you know, to be fair, was most likely the intention. The entire point was to say, hey, I'm this massive Resident Evil 4 hater, Resident Evil 4 Remake hater, you should watch this. And then you watch the video, and it's very clear he's just being like facetious, and he actually loves the game. Because the entire point was there's a bunch of Resident Evil 4 Remake haters that do pretend to, be massive Resident Evil fans, and then you look at their channel, and they have no videos on Resident Evil at all before this game, and they don't even really interact with the genre at all. I get what he's doing now. It's very good. These people do need to be called out. I didn't expect this to be how they were like how they would normally be called out. But yeah, satire is a good way to call people out like this. I'm just realizing this is satire. God damn. You got me though. You got me. Oh, god damn. This is great. I gotta watch the rest of it now. It's satire. Man. Understanding the satire that is involved around this has made this way more fun and interesting.
OG's El Gigante is that flash grenades can trigger a hard stun when his parasite is exposed. It also does a good amount of damage to him. A shame that knife slashes on his weak spot don't do a lot of damage. You'll probably be going through the max equivalent of 7 kitchen knives to even do a lot of damage to his parasite. With how large that is, and with how knife durability is a thing in Resident Evil 4 Remake that makes the knives feel more like consumables, it makes me wonder why, instead of being forced to use the knife, Leon doesn't just jump on the El Gigante's back and drop a grenade or a flash grenade into where the plaga is attached, much like how in Resident Evil 6, where Leon could attach incendiary grenades to Simmons' legs to destroy them after doing a QTE dodge. That should be an option in the case of a context-sensitive prompt tied to...
I didn't even know you could do that because I always killed him in a different way.
Consumable, especially with how low the damage from the knives are. I'm surprised that whole system from Resident Evil 2 Remake, with being able to use grenades and flash grenades as defense items, doesn't return in Resident Evil 4 Remake. And speaking of grenades, I don't know why, but there are moments where normal grenades don't stun the El Gigante. They're supposed to stun him while he's in his normal state, but certain circumstances mess with the system, preventing him from being stunned. And talking about stuns, if you shoot the El Gigante at least 4 times with the shotgun while he's recovering from his incapacitated state, or while he's recovering from the knife slashes, sometimes when he goes back into his regular state, the threshold for stunning him is greater for some reason. You'll know this issue has occurred when the sound effect that plays when shooting his parasite starts playing when shooting his head. You also can't seem to kill him while he's in these recovery animations. He has to recover from them in order to be killed. But to talk about the
yeah, that's true.
Alternative for the El Gigante, you'll want to have at least 3 flash grenades, at least 5 regular grenades, plenty of shotgun ammo, and enough knife durability. What you can do is hit the El Gigante in the head.
Now, have you noticed, if you want to know why he's not referring to shotgun only and the flash grenade, like, this is literally for a no merchant run. You would never actually do this without trying to do a no merchant run. Like, you would have a rifle, right? Or a TMP at this point. Possibly even a mine thrower. I would not recommend getting the mine thrower. You can, it's just, I wouldn't recommend it. And then that's the funny thing, you can, like, so most people never actually interacted with this. Which is also, like I said, how you know that this guy is being facetious. Because if I was frustrated with the game, I wouldn't be doing something that made me interact with it more if I was just trying to beat it, right? Like, if that was all I was doing, is this is a headache and I'm just trying to get over with this, you wouldn't do that, right? You wouldn't purposely make the game harder like this and longer, right? So this dude is objectively just pretending for views. It's satire.
Recovering from being slashed with a knife, even in the final phase where he's permanently in the aggressive phase. Once you drop down after knifing him, when he fully recovers from the recovery animation, start shooting his head and expose his parasite. Then use another flash grenade and another knife slash sequence. Once you start shooting his head while he's recovering, you've probably done enough damage for him to enter the final phase, where he's permanently in the aggressive phase. You can then repeat the process you've done so far with the flash grenades. If you run out of flash grenades, you can start stunning him with grenades.
Oh, you know what this is? This is a mocking that Electric Underground guy. That's what this actually is. Okay.
You have to hit him with the grenades while he's in his regular.
I know what this is. This is mocking Electric Underground.
Using the grenades on him while he's stunned will not stun him. Try to make sure.
Or maybe Synthetic Man in the Crobe Cap shit. I don't know. Have you noticed he never mentions Crobe Cat too, right? He references the Resident Evil podcast. Like no one, like I feel like the fact that he's never once mentioned Crobe Cat, Synthetic Man, Electric Underground, or any of the other like remake haters is should already have been evidence enough. Because no one would like be hating this that much without referencing them at least once.
Allowing you to knife him again. Keep the pressure on, and you can easily kill him. In the event that you have less than 3 flash grenades for the earlier phase, you'll have to resort to looping his back stop.
God damn, dude! How is it that like this guy is fooling anyone though? Because you remember, you still have to fool people, and at this point, like I'm a fucking retard. If you're not even fooling me, like, who the fuck is going to be falling for it this long in? Because someone's got to be falling for it, right? I'm trying to see, like, who is dumb enough to fall for it at this point. Now that I know that he's satirist, like, this is actually great, though. I love this satire. Like, this is like, so, like, this is like South Park levels of satire. Well, like, to put this in perspective, right? This is like Scream 1 kind of satire, right?
Grenades, knife slashes, and grenades to kill him. If you want, you can try to avoid his attacks normally and wait for him to collapse from exhaustion, but there's no incentive to do so, and you're opening yourself up to poor designs. As much as I've gotten into the habit of trying to avoid his attacks normally, I know that there are problems with doing so. I'm sure you can tell that in general, it's best to have 4 flash grenades, plenty of shotgun shells, and enough knife durability at the start of this encounter, as this is the most consistent route to take with damage racing and stun locking him. It bypasses a lot.
Oh, you know what? Oh man, I think I know what this is. He's pretending to hate it to show off his no merchant run guide. That's what this actually is. Oh man, this is just a no merchant run guide. This is just a no merchant challenge run guide, disguised as a hate video. God, I gotta tell like Bach with Soup about this video. This is gonna be great. Oh man, Bach with Soup. You need to watch this video. Guy's great. Like he's perfect at like making fun of haters of the game.
Overall, this is a really bad encounter that feels like it's dependent on gaming the system and relying upon exploits to make it bearable. The methodologies I've described with stun lock.
Like this, you know what this reminds me of, right? Reminds me of like Asmongold, right?
Because democracy basically means
What the fuck? That's a different video.
government by the people, of the people, for the people.
Eagle?
But the people are retarded.
Oh shit, okay, I get it.
What the fuck? I love monarchies now.
Okay, this is a different thing than I thought. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is 100% true. Where's the, is this it? Right, yeah, it's probably it.
Bond goal.
says he hopes Metal Gear Solid Delta Force Snake Gear doesn't make the game political. This firmly cements my suspicion that he is an absolute
Yesterday I dropped
Oh man. Okay, I fell for this, but like it's basically just this. But like in 17 hours of that, and it's just a video for a dude is no merchant guide.
Back then, because we didn't even the term hard R didn't even exist.
after Asmon made this joke.
I just hope this game. I just hope they don't remake it and make it political. You know. 3 million views. That is crazy. The joke is that Metal Gear Solid in history.
Wasn't enough. Not even nearly enough. The original tweet has now reached 10 million people, and it has spread like cancer. To the point that even Hassan is defending Asmon now.
There's no fucking shot that he's being serious. I'm not getting baited, chat. You're doing the same thing that you fucking criticize all the goddamn time.
Now, guys, we need to take one moment and be serious about this.
Okay.
What has transpired in the past 24 hours is absolute sheer insanity. More than 20 million people seeing this and commenting about it, with no one, and I mean no one, providing context or correcting what happened. Now we can obviously take it and will continue to do so with a smile on our faces. But this situation reminded me how not everyone is like Asmon. There are wonderful, wonderful people like Jokat who just could not take it and were attacked for just as insane reasons as Asmon.
That he is an absolute idiot. Hey, someone replied to you saying that Asmogul was being sarcastic when he dropped his brain dead take. I want to say, as a former bigot, this is a common tactic we'd use to shield our motives, because we were that brainwashed. That's right, because you used to be stupid, then everybody else is too.
Oh shit! I love Asmongold sometimes.
Every person is writing essays. I hope they don't add gay people or minorities.
They should do that to an Elden Ring 2 thing. Wait, imagine like Elden Ring 2 gets announced, and that's like he hopes they don't. He's like, I hope they don't like add trans people and gay and like a gay like I hope they don't add a trans allegory subplot and and body type A and B. Right, like imagine if that's like what he opens up like that would be like that would be great. Asmongold needs to do that, just saying. Anyway, we'll go back to this video that's now proven to be satire like that.
Are just as stupid as taking a fully upgraded sniper rifle and stun locking him as well. It really feels like this fight encourages the wrong sort of approach and playstyle with using your resources, thanks to how badly implemented the mentalities and designs are with this encounter. It can really
Well, yeah, most people don't like try to do this, so yeah, obviously it's going to be more designed on like what an actual player who wants to play the game would do.
endless, even if it looks like I'm using my resources intelligently with damage racing him and stun locking him. This is a pretty insulting encounter for a reimagining of one of the coolest bosses in Resident Evil history. I honestly consider this encounter to be worse than Bella or Moreau from Resident Evil Village. Not just because of the poor designs, but because of how screwed up this reimagining is. No interesting pre-fight set piece, no reason for that giant pickaxe to exist in Chapter 3, no meaningful environmental attacks for the El Gigante, no thought with the arena, no thought with the attacks and hitboxes, the inconsistencies with certain designs, the lack of incentive to have the dog in this encounter, the lack of incentive to fight him normally, the poor programming, like, it's just a mess. It's impossible for me to fully recount just how terrible the initial playthroughs were with this guy. If you want to see these problems, check out my poor designs of Resident Evil 4 Remake series, and also my blind playthroughs of Resident Evil 4 Remake. The only thing I really like about the Remake's El Gigante encounter is the music, and how it carries that sense of evil with it. When I hear this music, I end up thinking about Hunnigan and everyone alongside her, and how they have no idea what Leon is going through, and how they're not seeing the evil first.
Okay, this dude's just satire. Okay, well now this is boring, right? Because the point of it was outspurging someone who is like actually hating on the game. But now that I'm bored because now I know it's satire, goddamn. Oh, I guess I'll have 14 hours left of satire, and now I get like the satire, so it's gonna be a lot more fun. Like I'll have to like see like who he's referencing by pretending to hate this game. and like see like who like I'll have to have like a satire reference counter too, like who he's referencing to shit on while making this video that hates this game.
I end up thinking about our world's own evils hiding amidst the crippling societies we set up. I end up thinking about the evil hiding behind corporate facades. I end up thinking about the evils of BOWs from a similar kind of context to what Evelyn showed me about pure evil. I think about how much society goes out of its way to hide such evil through pure ignorance. I associate the images of evil provided by this song to other figures in my life, or with other villains like Evelyn from Resident Evil. I often use this song for clearing my head of intrusive thoughts or memories that carry with them a sense of ignorance. And alongside this music comes a sense of empowerment through your own knowledge and encounters with evil, while using your own beliefs and inner goodness to keep yourself stable in the face of such evil. It's a sense of empowerment that puts you above people like your siblings, parents, or other professional individuals. Like, this music gets me thinking. That's what I like about it. But that's all there is to say about the El Gigante in this remake. Once the El Gigante's dead, you can pick up any loot and also enter his sleep area, where you can get the rearing log, which I've already talked about. But can I just say how tiny this sleep area is? How can something as big as the El Gigante possibly fit in here? And there are even clotheslines hanging at a height that shouldn't be possible, since the El Gigante would have knocked them over. I don't think they gave this area much thought with its designs. Making our way back to the church, there's another mutated Cornmio. Normally you can skip the vignette and run past it.
I mean, it's funny because they did like show why he was like the way he was, right? In the note that he didn't pick up that they were like putting it to sleep, right, with the chant, which would of course make it so like it probably just wouldn't move.
But if you were in that side area near the lake and you encountered the Cornmios there, the vignette that usually plays for this Cornmio will not happen, so you can't get past the Cornmio fast enough. You'll have to either use a flash grenade or force it to do the jump attack so you can knock it over. Entering the church, Leon calls out to Ashley and says he's here to help. Getting no response, he then solves a puzzle, heads up to the next level, and finds a door. This leads into our next comparison. In Resident Evil 4 OG, Leon opens the door and finds Ashley. Ashley, who's still in a state of panic, throws a stick at Leon, cowers in the corner, and averts her gaze as Leon approaches. Leon reassures her that he is not a threat and that everything will be fine. He holsters his weapon, calmly introduces himself, and then tells her that he's under her father's orders to rescue her. The mention of her father...
Yeah, so the dedication to just a no merchant guide. Alright, so this is just a no merchant guide. Like, yeah. All right, well, so now that we've seen that, all right, see ya.